There we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and back to another episode of The Watchman with me, host John Lucas. Make some noise. Yes, sir. Clap it up. Get excited wherever you are. We are back with another action-packed show for you today with news going around the boxing landscape and the sports world as a whole. Oh, yes, indeed. We got a road to 154 now begins for Javon Boots Ennis. We got a month away from the biggest fight in potentially the last 3 to 5 years. Canelo versus Crawford on Netflix. We got Moses the Talma also fighting this weekend with Raymond Ford, with Nick Ball, with Sam Goodman, with the whole plethora of people, Hergovich, the who's who of talent all across the board in the building. We didn't have anything, I don't think, happened last week. But I think this week now, the road gets back to popping up, and we're excited for it all. And I'm so glad to be with you all on today's episode. But again, before we even get started, full disclaimer, we got to do the intro. So if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the stream right here, right now. Yes, sir, go ahead and keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions like we see in the chat down below, like with Jay Will. And when you comment, you can have your stuff posted for the world to be able to see, to have your voice be heard on this show. Absolutely. And Jay Will, how you doing? The Angry Mexican, how you doing? Good to see you. Al Booger and everybody else is joining through on the thing. Al Booger, yo, what's up to you? Glad y'all here, and anybody else who wants to show up, hey, this is the spot to be. This is the place to come through. This is the time to get excited, because we are on the road to absolute, I want to say apocalyptic, because that sounds ending. The potentially new beginnings are going to be able to come up after, shoot. Starting from now to doggone December, and we got a road to success that we don't know what history's gonna hold, because it's gonna be fight after fight after fight after fight coming down the pipe. We all so excited for it. Absolutely. But again, leave a like on the video. Keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions right here on the show. Subscribe if you have not already, and join the empire. Share, hit the notification bell, so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube, and be sure to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. Yes, indeed, you and me, we can make this thing so great, all with you and your support. And if you want to support the show, and you want to, give something to help me keep the lights on and help to make the show bigger and better, for now, we got Cash App and PayPal and links in the description down below. Whatever you can give will mean the world to me, and will help make this show bigger and better for you all to enjoy. But with all that being said, we got a plethora of stuff to talk about. We got a cavalcade of things to discuss. So, since we're talking about boxing first and foremost, it is time to step into the ring. Oh yes, that's right. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway. And we can also go to delve into a world of things. I'm going to read your chat real quick before the first topic that we have on the docket. It will be Javon Boots Ennis, and the brothers finally got a fight. Can you believe it? My gosh. All right. We've been speculating for who knows how long, but we're going to start out the show with at least the notion of the topic that Boots officially has a fight going on against Lima. That is right. We were debating what it's going to be. Was it going to be Ellis? Was it going to be Lima? Who's going to be the first man to get a crack at one of the most athletic freaks of nature at his debut at 154? What will be the tune-up fight that will expose Boots to the elements that are the dangers of 154? Now we know it is Lima, who I believe is the 10th ranked fighter in the world, in what would be a WBC tiebreaker not WBC, WBA tiebreaker for the WBA 154-pound title. So since that's the case, hey, this would start the fast track to getting a shot at the title. Now, will it be one fight? Will it be two fights? Who knows what's going to happen? All I do know is we at least have an answer, and the roadmap is starting to take effect. Thank goodness. We got some direction. We got some exposure. We have some understanding of what we're looking to be. And thank goodness, because my gosh, if you were here last weekend, this is one of the most insane Chat rooms we had in a while. And everybody was saying, everybody was trying to figure out what was and what isn't. Well, before we found out with Eddie Hearn, that whole situation with him going through and doggone saying that him and Virgil Ortiz were going to fight, as well as getting getting into the fight before that. Virgil Ortiz says, nah, we're saying this contract isn't real. I thought that it was, at least on Boots' side, but genuinely, Ortiz didn't get it. Lo and behold, now, okay, at least we now know that on Boots' end, he is indeed, at least, seems like with his extension with Matchroom, at least that's true. Maybe the Virgil thing was absolutely false. Hey, and I'll bite the bullet on that. Absolutely. Hey, like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll be glad to be wrong as long as I'm right down the line. And so now, all we can ask is, well, we expect him to win this. We can't count our chickens before they hatch. But this should lead, hopefully, to a fight with Virgil Ortiz sooner rather than later. That's at least. Back again, championship. This is a WBA title eliminator. Lord, we can get that Virgil Ortiz fight even before we get a title fight for the WBA title for this in the realm of Boots. I don't care. I just want to see the fight. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I just want to see the fight, and I want to see his debut, and I want to see what he can do at 154. And now we at least have an answer of what he is trying to accomplish. And thank the Lord for that. My goodness, we got a roadmap, thankfully. But let me see what you all got to say before I continue to go through on the thing. I didn't even read the chat. I was just saying, what's up to everybody? Let me see. Watch it with my man. Let's go. Hey, buddy, let's go with it. I'm so glad that I'm here. And I'm glad that y'all are here with us as well. Let me see. Angry Mexican, what you got to say? I need my respect. I told y'all Virgil Ortiz wasn't legit for 2022. Hey. We give it to you. 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 We didn't know what was what. You said it wasn't going to happen. Ortiz said it wasn't going to happen, and it wasn't going to happen. Great. Hey, we have an answer, thankfully. Now, with that being the case, there's still work to be done, and eventually, so let's be serious. We were not hoping for that fight just to start drumming up some interest or just to clickbait. We genuinely weren't. We saw the video and we were saying, "Oh yeah, it's happening." Then the ring took the video down. Eddie Hearn making that whole announcement. Boom. Ooh, stuff was conflicting. We were confused. Now we have a roadmap, and also they did put the interview back up on the ring of what Eddie Hearn said with the whole situation with him and Virgil. And the contract extension with Boots and the 2-fight thing, they put that back up. So what that means, I'm not even going to read into it. All I know is now, we got an answer. That's all I was asking. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Who's going to be your first fight? And now we know. Now we can start debating how this fight's going to go and what potentially he's going to do against somebody in terms of Lima at 154. With the potential pitfalls that we saw him have at 147, will they take effect at this higher division? We can finally talk about it. And it's the exciting thing than this. Let me see. I just watched Moses White face off on YouTube. Wait, time out. Hold on. They faced off today? Wait a minute. Time out. What do you mean they faced off today? I thought it was wait a minute. Are you sure? Hold on. Wait. Can I find? Doggone, I gotta find out on the. Hold on. I'm about to go to Twitter. I did not know that they faced off today. We're gonna look at that. We're gonna talk about Moses and Talma and White on this show today. Don't get it twisted. We still got that as a topic for discussion. Let me see. Albuga and OG. Excuse me. You're talking to the chat. My apologies on the Ninja. What's good with you? Thanks for tuning in. So glad that you're with us on today. I appreciate it. And again, Angry Mex, I'm giving you your respect. Absolutely. You called it. Before we all could figure it out. We give you your props. Absolutely. Let me see. I heard Boots vs. Thurman in October. Not sure if that was just clickbait. I have not. Now, what? Now, with this, we can start discussing. We can. This can be a topic. Where's the button? There we go. This can be a topic. We can start talking about this. Boots has said he wanted 2 tune-up fights in the division of 154. He wanted 2 tune-up fights. And his talks with Turkey Al Sheikh And Chucky Al Sheik was essentially saying, hey, when you want the big fights, come to me. If you want tune-ups, you can stay where you are. And once you're ready, we can do business. Now, I believe they had an interview, and I believe that's documented. You can go find that. But he said he wanted to, and to get himself comfortable in the division. Okay, fine. I think he only needs one. After Lima, go into the deep end. Because that's what we know. That's what we know you can be and who you are. But if he does get two, don't be surprised if Keith Thurman is that second fighter. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. It's clickbait for now. Because, again, nothing's set in stone. Nothing has been agreed upon, or at least divulged to the public. Further than what we have right now with Jaron Ennis' fight with Lima in October. Or is it October? Is it October? Let me make sure I got the date right. Yeah, October 11th. So at this point in time, October 11th, Boots versus Lima. What comes next afterwards? Maybe early February, more like mid-February, maybe March. Then we could get Boots versus Keith Thurman in another title eliminator for the WBA Championship. Now, after that, then the ball gets to rolling. Now we get Boots into some real dangerous fights, potentially against the Ortizes, against the Fondoras, against the others of the world, the Boachucks, the deep end of the division, the road to the 3-time undisputed champion that Boots has said, and even posted on social media, that he still is about with 3 crowns and all in his essentially little hype blurb on Twitter, I think Twitter X, whatever the word app is. It's called, when discussing, this fight with Lima is going on. So again, at this point in time, nothing with Boots and Thurman. But it could be something down the line. Absolutely no question about it. Let me see. You can be ready to accountable. You can be acting super holder after round. And so it should be. And again, when we're talking about accountability, when in the vein, of accountability, what we do on this channel, hey, but I don't care who you are. If you're great, be great. And if you are great, we hold you to the standard of greatness. Plain and simple. Race, creed, credit, or merit, all of whatever a person is, we do not care about. From the sense of, it doesn't skew, or at least it shouldn't skew, how exactly we hold people to the same high bar of excellence, especially when they've shown, okay, you can reach it. You can actually get there and sustain it. And so because of that, hey, but I don't care who you are. White, black, or other. Hey, man, on this channel, we about trying to be great. We want to see people achieve legacy. We want movers and shakers that can break up the foundation of the pantheon of all-time greats that we have in the sport today. We want that. Who doesn't want to witness the evolution of the sport get better? But it only happens when people are able to turn themselves into that mold. And it takes work and sacrifice, and more importantly, it takes a drive to reach that bar. And it takes a certain level of pathway to reach said bar. So if we want them to do it, we got to make sure that they do it regardless of who they are. And I don't care how bigger of a name, smaller of a name, it don't matter. Anybody can be great. Greatness is literally, it's one win. Greatness is a win away. It's one step away from walking into that threshold. We just want people to walk that right path into that threshold, because it makes the sport better. So I don't care who you are. We're just trying to make sure that people, we call them out like they call it out. Hopefully we've been consistent. We've done it with Boots. We've done it with Boots. We've done it with Tank. We've done it with Canelo. We've done it with Tyson Fury. Shoot, we were talking about doing it with Anyway. And Anyway was what shouldn't have any complaints. And we were still saying, hey, brother, if you make sure you stay on the road that you're doing, because it's great. And he's my favorite fighter. He's turning into one of my favorite fighters of all time. Top 3 for me, from a personal favorite. But no, he's just as susceptible as everybody else. Because it ain't about trying to prop up throw a black fighter or a Mexican fighter. As we said before, every style is incredible. Every culture brings a new aspect of shoot, mystery, and greatness, and legitimate talent. And layers upon layers upon layers steeped into the sport based on where they're from, bringing their lives, their culture, their being into what this thing is, perpetuated and shown in the style in which they fight. It's a beautiful thing. That's why styles make fights, because it's bigger than just the stylistic slick versus power puncher, mover versus plotter. It's more than that. It's so much that delves into this, but it's what makes it beautiful. And so I want to get, because we need that melting pot. We need it. And so because of that, I don't gotta prop up somebody or ride or die for anybody. Not because I ain't proud of my people. Yeah, I'm black. I love being black. I love black fighters. Sure. And I also love Mexicans. I also love Asians. Korean, Japanese, all of them. Cuban, Ecuadorian. It's a flair from everybody. When you are able to prop up the sport over just a fandom or over just and I say this lightly, again, have pride in your people and who you support, no question. But when you're able to make sure that you put a stopgap per se in that support, to where you don't go over the line of then bringing down or unfairly gauging others in or outside of your race, in and outside your country, then you're able to better appreciate the sport as a whole. Because now you ain't just saying, everybody else is a bump who ain't of this set. And that, it can dilute the sport. But when you have pride, but you love the sport as much as you do, and it doesn't skew or make you bring down other people, then all of a sudden, it's so much more enjoyable. At least for me. At least for me. Anyway, but let me keep on reading what you all had to say. Let me see. Miss Queen, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. So glad that you're here with us on today. I appreciate everybody coming through right now. And again, I do want to hear what you all have to say in regards to this whole situation with John Ennis. Do you think that this man will struggle against Lima as much as we expect it to be a fight that he should be able to win? Many people are saying that they're sick of Boots, even with this fight announcement, because they're saying, here go Boots again, not fighting proper competition, not going through and fighting people that are indeed great, not going through that are and attempting to take on the big dogs anyway. It's another waste of time by Boots. And I've seen that over social media. I've seen that on X. I've seen that from the public eye. And it's do y'all feel that way? Let me see. And Deborah. Or I think this is Justin using a different account. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Appreciate you coming in on with us today. But let me see. I don't know who he's fighting, honestly. Well, again, a lot of people don't. I do understand. And again, it's Lima, who right now is the 10th best, is it? Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Is it Usman Lima? Or is it, hold on, wait. Two vowels, first vowel, you. I think you. Yeah, I think yeah, okay, yeah. So it's Usman Lima. I had to make sure I have my grammar right. So, I had to make sure I have my grammar right real quick. What's that name? But yeah, Usman Lima, 10th ranked, at least by box rank and a couple other rankings, 10th ranked 154 pounder in the world. Some people have him 11th, some people may have him 9th, whatever the case may be. So he's in that top 10 threshold for at least a portion of the boxing people who rank said division. Now, since that's the case, this would be his first test at 154, but at the same time, one could theorize this would be his weakest test at 154, at least for the time being, up until he gets into the real weeds of that top 8 or top 6 per se at 154. So the brother, I'm not saying he's spectacular. I'm not saying that Lima's going to be an absolute knockout artist. Again, I've seen some clips of this brother going through and fighting. I think he won his last fight by knockout, I believe, unless I got my people wrong. But he's a brother who, again, he should be slower than Boots. He should be, and he should be slower than Boots, from what I can see in the film. He is indeed a fighter who, you're gonna love this, walks with his hands down when he gets into a fight. And we know this brother, some of Boots' best performances that come from people that are indeed come forward, not necessarily great defensive fighters, that are more so plotters. So this is kind of, again, though he's around that top 10 rank, is a tailor-made fighter for the likes of Boots Ennis, at least from what I've seen. Now, again, he still does have, I think he's got some pop to him. I believe, yeah, he is 14-1. 10 KOs on his resume. So again, so if we want to test the chin of Boots Ennis, this would be the guy to do it. Hey, let's be real. Let's not forget, we're still looking at a brother who has trusted his chin so much at 147. Don't forget that against Shukajan, against David Evanesian, shoot, even against Roman Villa. Way back in the day when he went into the Matrix and started fighting in slow motion. All of those fights before Stanionis, we were seeing Boots get his chin checked from the standpoint of he was willingly taking shots that he, again, wasn't affecting him. And he was more so annoyed, which is one of the concerns that we had going into the Stanionis fight. You can't be annoyed as you step up in competition, and you got to make sure that you are locked in at all times. Now that that's the case, at least with the Stanionis fight, it seemed like he fixed it. He's going to need it against Lima. He is. As much as Lima may not be again, he is a threat. Though he is looked at as a threat that should be very much handled by Boots. There's still some concern that we could see Boots put in a state that we never see him in, which is we could see Boots hurt. We could. We really could. And it could get very dangerous. It could get very dangerous indeed. I promise you that. And so let me see. Oh, we got more people in the chat like Kingdom Boxing. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Hold on. Let me drink my iced coffee today. And make you, God, that's bitter. I thought I had put enough. I thought I had put enough creamer and flavoring. Oh my. Oh Lord. Ooh, that's gonna, hey, that'll wake you up. That'll get you up now. I wish you would. I should have made that sweeter. But it's still, it ain't bad. But my gosh, I'm particular when it comes to my coffee, especially when it comes to iced coffee. Because brother, if it's bitter and it's cold, ooh, that thing will hit you like a ton of bricks in the back of your mouth. And I'm telling you right now, that aftertaste, boy, whoo, that's gonna take some get used to. Oh Lord, but we still go right. I'm still drinking, sadly, sadly. Oh boy, yeah, this is good. Oh, that's bad. But let me see, Kingdom Boxing. I'm so sorry. How you doing? Good to see you. How am I? I'm doing well. I'm excited. Aside from the aftertaste that I messed up in the flavoring, I'm doing pretty all right. Hopefully you enjoyed your Tuesday afternoon with us right here on the show. And if you would go ahead and leave a like on the stream, go ahead, get the likes up, get people to join in on the show. Let everybody know exactly what we got going on right here on the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and every podcasting platform imaginable after the show airs right here. So I appreciate you coming through. Absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. And I'm doing well. Hopefully you are too. Let me see. I would love to see him fight Thurman. I would as well, but Thurman is not ready for that at this point in time. He is not. He needs to get some more. But he's got to be. I need to see him again. I need to see Thurman again before I see him fight against Boots. Because right now, I think Thurman, if it was old Thurman, and by old, I mean pre-retirement Thurman, who before the 3-year layoff, who was still active at one and now moved up to 154. Okay, we got ourselves a conversation. Okay, we got ourselves a really good fight. A really good fight. But right now, I'm putting Thurman in the same framework as Pacquiao from the standpoint of at these dangerous divisions, or at this day, at one of the most dangerous divisions in boxing, with you coming off of a layoff, long one at that. Though the performance was better than we all expected, brother, if you're going to fight these killers, I need to see something else. Even with Pacquiao, brother, with his performance against Barrios, hey, it's impressive as all get out. But I'm saying he can beat Barrios. I'm not saying he can beat Brian Norman. I ain't saying that. Because I know there's still a lot of work to do before he can get up to those other really dangerous opponents. Thurman's the same way. Though Thurman may look to be a little more conducive together, he's still got to get on it. He still got to get on it. I thought Thurman was going to fight Charlo. They've been drawing back and forth, but Lord knows what's going to happen with that. Because all of a sudden, Charlo is again persona non grata, and we don't know what's going on. Now, if I saw that fight and Cameron look good, okay. Now I would love to see Boots versus Thurman. Title eliminator winner after that now gets a shot at the championship. I would like that. That would be good. That would be really good. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to keep on reading because I want to make sure. Hold on. Ryan Grace, hold on. What's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you again. I'm scrolling quick. I'm not trying to miss nobody. I'm not trying to miss nobody. But how you doing? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in on the show. Lipinets got in easy on the inside on Boots. He did. I will capitulate. But he was able to take it. Now, again, at this next step in the division, the question is, what can Boots take at 154? We have jawed about the power. We have jawed about the ability. We've talked on about what we think Boots is going to be. I think Boots is going to be a brother who, once he gets to 154 and commits to it, brother, he's going to be insane. He's going to be better than he was at 147. The bigger Boots gets as a fighter, the better Boots is going to be as a fighter. Because he will unlock more aspects to his game due to his physical gifts not being able to be fully fleshed out with his filling out of weight and letting his body really reach the maximum of what he can do without weight training. At least not nearly as much, at least at this point in time. And with that being the case, we're looking at a fighter who the world is his oyster if he can actually achieve it. It's there for him. But the other question is, what can he take at 154 and the bad habits that he had at 147? Will he bring them into this division? And if he does, but that's a dangerous sentiment.
Hey,
that's scary. That's horrifying.
We got some problems here.
That's incredibly horrifying. If he brings those same bad habits into this division that he had at 147, that he looked like he fixed. Again, it's only one fight. Best competition against steady owners. And he handled them with ease. And he looked like he fixed a lot of the defensive flaws and a lot of the bad habits that he had in 147 moving up. But if again, old habits die hard. It's easy for one bad situation to drum up an old frame of action that leads to the same issues that we were trying to get you to stop having in the first place. That's what we can see with Boots Ennis hypothetically. And he cannot afford to have that level of ineptitude defensively that he had at 147 at 154, because now you're dealing with people who everybody at baseline, just about everybody at baseline, got the crack of a Stanionis, who you had to have respect for in the sense of how you fought. He did. He did. He still beat him up, but he fought him with a conscious mind to be aware, hey, I can't let this buddy just land on me like I was able to do with other opponents and just eat the shot and keep on rocking. I got to be more conscious. Baseline. Lima's going to be the worst, most likely. Again, prayerfully. And this is with all due respect to Lima. Lima's going to be the worst opponent that Boots faces at his stint at 147. We can almost agree to that. Or we can almost guarantee that Lima's going to be Boots' worst fight at 154 at this point in time, at this next division. Because the road afterwards probably going to be laden with bodies aplenty. It's going to be laden with killers that have bodies aplenty behind them. If it is only a one-fight tune-up situation. Unless it doesn't turn into a two-fight situation. Which we'll have to wait and see. But regardless of which, that's my biggest concern. And I want to know if that's how you feel too. But I'm very scared. As much as I know Boots can potentially conquer this division, he's got the talent to do it. He's got the physical gifts to do it. At least we're going to find out if he still got the power to do it. And everything that we say about him getting stronger, faster, and better, if it bodes true at this next division with the added weight. But still, don't know. But the one thing I do know, out of everything else, even with the ability, the danger because of his apathetic nature at times to take hits can stifle every single point of momentum that this buddy got right now. And it can end just like that, earlier than ever before. And it's an insane thing. It is a very much insane thing. But let me keep on reading. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure I ain't missing nobody. Either I say it or Jean-Luc says it. Virgil Ortiz is ducking. Ooh. Ooh, is he? I'm going to pose that question to you all. In fact, let me put out a poll. I've seen something. I want to get a gauge of the environment for y'all. Y'all want to say, I'm only asking this because I've seen this question, or I've seen this rhetoric on social media a lot. And I'm very interested to see how you all feel about this. With now the smoke kind of clearing with this whole situation. And hindsight being what it is right now. Do you all think that Virgil Ortiz ducked Boots with the fight instead of going at it? Or do you think that now it wasn't a duck? Nothing was ever agreed to. And Boots is doing what he said he was going to do, which is getting the tune-up fights. And do you think, and is it Boots that isn't trying to really sink his feet where we thought he was going to do into the deep end of this division? And is it him? I want to hear from you. I want to know from you all. I'm put out a poll. Just to get engaged in the public. I'm put out a poll to see what you all got to say. And we'll come back to it later on. Hold on, I'm not. Okay, yeah. Put out a poll just to see what you all got to say for now as we're going through. But it's a good question. I'm going to post it. We're going to come back to the poll later on. And let me see. Boots reminds me of a combination of Sugar Ray Leonard fused with Tommy. Ooh. See, I see where you're coming from. The pop of a Tommy Hearns with the combination speed of a Sugar Ray. Somewhat is there now. I would more so say, again, when who would be a good fighter? I'd more so, dang, I gotta think actually. You know what? I can somewhat see it. He ain't got the length. He sure enough ain't got the chopping right hand that Tommy Hearns got. But he does have that killer instinct that both Leonard and Hearns did that. And the flurry combination that he can throw at times are indeed incredible. Somewhat like Leonard. But again, not to the same. Again, there's still levels to this. Still levels to this. But still levels to this. But still, I can somewhat see it. I can somewhat see that comparison. I can. I never put those two together. But I can somewhat see it. But let me see. Can we keep on reading? Boots trusts his chin more than Canelo, and that's not good. Yeah. But he trusts his chin like he's Gennady Golovkin at times, and I'm like, brother, ooh boy, George tried that same thing, and look, eventually, what it got him. And that's dangerous. Boots is currently the undisputed eye test champ of the unbiased swim. Almost forgot to say hi. Brother, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad you're here with us on today. I'm so sorry. I missed you coming into the chat. Appreciate you coming in on the show. But see, the thing with Jaron Ennis, he looks so special. And it's not bad to have your feelings on Boots based on what you see. Yes, the standard of what we wanted to achieve, we're still trying to, get it rolling. The brother's almost 30. He said he wants to be a champion by the time he is, 20? No, he's trying to be an undisputed champion before 30. Great. If you're going to get on the ball, get on the ball. You got 30 fights onto your resume. Anyway, got 32 fights, and you see what he's accomplished. Benavidez got 35, almost got 30 fights, and you see what he's accomplished. But by the time Crawford had 30 fights, but he was already moving mountains. So if you do want to do that, I'm fine. But now it's get on it. We do understand that. But I'm not going to hate on anybody for having the eye test of what we see with Boots be something so incredible. Because it's hard to not accept that this brother is indeed different from everybody else around his vicinity as a fighter. It really is difficult. Because you see the oozing aura of talent that he has around him. You see and you feel that you're witnessing something completely different from the rest of the boxing populace when you watch Boots. You're right. And he passes that eye test with so much flair and quality work. Because for every single time that you have a gripe about him, which is justified, all of a sudden he'll do something incredible. It's like, well, my gosh, shoot. Yeah, even with those flaws, this cat is still untouchable by most of the people around him. And we just want the eye test and the accolades to finally match up with each other so we can say, yep, he is all in all a great fighter. We do want that. But I'm not going to hate on nobody for having the reactions that they do to Boots. Because, brother, it's incredible. Hopefully I am showing myself knowledgeable in the sport. But I'm having them same reactions. I'm having those same reactions when I watch Boots. It's mind-bending type stuff. And it's so much of a gap that he can create between him and his opponent when he's on it. Like when he's really on his game. That's just like, oh my gosh, there's no contest. When he's on his game. And he's going to have to be on his game like that. All the time at 154, I guarantee. Let me see. So Thurman about to get beat up by Fundor. Again, I can check right now. I'm not sure whether or not Fundor and Thurman are going to fight each other. Like I said, I have yet to find who exactly is Keith Thurman's next opponent, unless something's gotten announced. Let me check. Let me check. social media real quick to make sure that I ain't missing no potential announcement. I ain't even heard anything on what Keith Thurman's going to do next. After I think what his last fight was a knockout against Jarvis. If I got my stuff correct, let me do a quick search. I don't want to waste too much. I don't want to waste too much time. Lord knows that. Wait, hold on. Wait, well, you know what? I can't trust Rick Glazer. But, wait, is this true? According to Greg Hatch, time out. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Flag on the play. Wait a minute. Wait a second. I'm getting some new developments. Hold on. I'm connecting dots. Hold on. Wait a minute. I ain't trying to stop the show, but hold on. Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. I'm trying to validate if this is true. I'm getting word, or at least I'm seeing word, from reportedly Greg Hatchett that Boots was going to, or had an offer to fight Keith Thurman. Nope, wrong button. No, that ain't it. I don't know how true this is. Keith Thurman wanted $20 million to fight Boots Ennis. Let me click on the Greg Hatchett real quick. Let me check it. Let me validate this to make sure. Tank won't face possible. Interesting. What about you? He will fight. Well, we're going to, if this is true, hey, we'll have to wait and see at this point. At this point, I don't know what's going to go on with Tank Davis. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. We're going to search this together. I'm looking to see if Boots had anything going through. Oh, yeah. I forgot I was going to talk about this as well later on in the show. I forgot. Shigatoshi did pass away as well. Doggone it. I was going to cover that later on in the show. As well as, is it Urakawa? Is it, let me see. Yeah, Hiromasa Urakawa and Shigekoshi Kotari both died from the same card at 28 years old. When we were touching on the whole aspect of but you can't play boxing. Like we had said, I think like the day before this news got announced. It's terrible, man. Rest in peace to these. Ah, gosh. Shoot, man. Golly. Dang it. Oh. We're going to touch on this later on in the show. But this is tragic. But this speaks to something I talked about last week, right before this news got announced. I think somebody else had said that Shigatoshi had been put in a coma in the last show. I didn't get to read the chat, but we're gonna address this because it needs to be talked about, and also we need to pay respect to where respect is due because these two were incredible warriors. And I do. Dang it, man. Shoot, man, that hurts. That really does hurt. But you know, not to just ignore the situation, but to respectfully move on. I was looking to see where this report was from Greg Hatchett, and I can't find it, going to his direct social media page. So I can't find it for now. But in the light of that, still, talking about Boots as the last thing, we'll wait and see. And it's starting to seem like that wasn't true, but still, we'll find out. Let me see. It's already confirmed that Boots swerved Vert. Well, let's look at the poll. Let me see what you all got to say. So, what is it, 10 minutes? 10 votes? All right. Let's see what people got to say. 40% said that Virgil did not duck Boots. Okay. I asked the poll because of the fact that I was getting some different sentiments online, not from you all, but from going through the news, social media, trying to see how the pulse of the people per se, trying to see what that was about. There was some people that getting claims left, right, and center. So now, okay, Boots did not, or Virgil did not duck Boots. I do agree. Because Boots, again, Eddie Hearn was the one that made a claim. Virgil, multiple occasions, said he didn't get anything. Now, I will say, when the time comes for that fight to actually happen, once the roads do collide, now, this conversation is going to come up again. We're going to be very attentive to see what Virgil's going to do this time. Some people were saying that Virgil was ducked before in other situations. But again, for this specific one, nothing's going wrong. But for the next one, sooner rather than later, the stuff's going to hit the fan. The rubber's going to meet the road, and we're going to see what people are really all about as time goes on. But let me keep on going through with the other people. Good gosh, quite a lot of people chatting. Great day, it's great. Let me keep on reading. Boots duck Virgil is the actual answer. I mean, again, I'm gonna say this. As you all know, my bar for this whole situation, if Boots is fighting a tune-up fight in his first fight at 154 in the new division, I've never had a problem with it. I've always said that fighters need to fight a tune-up before jumping into the deep end of what they are as fighters in that division. Now, I also said that Boots was a brother who, when it comes time, okay, you've had your honeymoon, you've gotten your feet wet, now it's time to work. It's time to work. Once after this first fight, especially if it's a complete, oh, he's looking phenomenal. Oh, brother, it's time to work. It's time to go. Because we were already saying when you got into this division, you were going to be one of the 5 biggest names here at 154. So since that's the case, but you can't skirt around the work that's got to be done. You can't do that. You got to get going. You got to get going. Because if you don't, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I'm telling you. And from my understanding, it was probably the other way around. Yes. Everybody's agreeing that it wasn't Virgil ducking. Okay. So we're on the same page. Well, for the most part, we are on the same page. But let me keep on going. Good, great day. I am behind on people's chats. And let me say, hold on. I ain't sipping. I was just trying to get a pulse of the people. I ain't sipping for nobody. Let's be clear. If there's anybody that's been critical against Boots, it's been me. Justifiably so. Though I love what he is as a fighter. You can be both. You can be critical and also be, beloved of a fighter. Because you see what they got inside him as a talent. As a legitimate as a great fighter. I don't know about him as a person. As a fighter though. Yeah, he checks on the box. I want to see him be great. But, brother, we still going to hold people's feet to the fire. Hold fighters' feet to the fire. One of our sayings on this show, we still going to do it. I guarantee you about that. I promise you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Another fighter made my alien. Wait, who? Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. You talking about a brother with the grading scale of a doggone diamond with quality versus quantity? Who in the world made your scale of being an A-list fighter? Because it's only what, 3? It's only like 3. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear this. Oh, please put it down in the chat. I'm waiting on pins and needles. I can't wait to hear I want to hear who made your list and what elevated them up. Because, brother, did somebody move up 3 weight classes? Did we see Bam knock out doggone Shakur in sparring all of a sudden? I want to hear this. I want to see who the world got up there. My gosh. That's insane. Shoot. What the world? I'm so interested. I can't wait to see this. Let me see. Crawford about to lose on September 13th. Well, we can touch on Crawford. We got that's next. Also vlogs. Brother, how you doing? I'm so glad you're back. I appreciate you coming back to the show. Appreciate you tuning into the live. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the stream. It would help us so much. But hey, that's next. Canelo versus Crawford. We're going to jump into that whole pool next on this show. Let me just finish out this Boots saga. Then we're going to jump into the world of Crawford. Because trust me, we got a lot to say. And people got a lot of feelings on it. I guarantee you about that. And it's going to be, let me see. Probably one of Canelo's haymakers knocks out. You want Bud getting knocked out. You don't want to see history unfold. A potential glass ceiling of greatness broken through. I mean, isn't it incredible? Wouldn't you not want to see a potential upset happen? Though I understand, but film over feelings. I get the sentiment. But the film, but now I will say the film for this particular fight, it ain't too far off. It ain't. It's that physical aspect that makes this so enticing, or rather so dangerous for Crawford more than anything coming into 168. But still, hey, anything is possible. It's gonna be great, and I can't wait to see it. But again, the last thing on Boots before we switch gears, Boots Ennis as a fighter against Lima, and we're gonna break down that fight again later on in the year as it gets closer and closer. Full blown show, all my sit down, grab some popcorn. I'm gonna give you what Lima does, what he can do, how he can win, what Boots does, what he can do, how he can win, who's gonna win ultimately, and how they will win in a final prediction. We're gonna do all that later on in the show, just like we're gonna do for Canelo and Crawford. Later on this, not even later, I think like, 2 weeks, a week or two? We're going to do it because the fight's 4 weeks away. And we got to get my content out. So we're going to make that happen. But with Boots at 154, for the last thing, against Lima, though Lima is slow feet, Lima has a willingness to throw in trades. Eat a shot to take a shot. And he does have the power that has me a little bit concerned for when Boots does fight him. If Boots gets talked and acts the same way that he did against David Evans. Because I think at this division, you can't just, even if one shot does not hurt you, you can't take that as, oh, that's all the power this brother's got. You can't. You got to be able to be switched on. Not fight scared, but fight attentively. Fight at attention. Fight with your eyes wide open and you are consciously going through the fundamentals. Hand to the chin. Head movement, but not over-exaggerate. Be aware and use your speed and use your length to set up shots for when Lima is going to inevitably commit on the inside with the slow feet. You do that, you got something. You don't, it can be an issue. But you better be careful. Because this fight can get dangerous and sketchy. Just like that. And all of a sudden we can be saying, we can go from Boots is a world conqueror to Boots, you're going to have a time against the likes of Sebastian Fundora. You're going to have a time against the likes of Virgil Ortiz. Can you even get past Bocha? We can have those questions can genuinely come as detractions to Boots at the drop of a hat, depending on his performance at 154, even though it's his first fight. Because we know what's coming down the line. And you got to be ready at this division, but you got to be ready. Oh, you got to be so ready because it's filled with talent, absolutely. But as we're going into the second topic of this show, now we delve into Canelo versus Crawford. Yes, sir. Here we go. Let's get it started and let's get it popping. What is it? Oh, you know what this needs? This needs some mocha. That's what I'm missing. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's some mocha. I need mocha sauce. That's what I need. some mocha sauce, and a little bit of whipped cream. It ain't gonna melt. Just to mix it in and let it bleed into the flavoring. Perfect. That's what I've been. I knew something on the tip of my tongue was missing. That's what it was missing. I need to get that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. That's gonna be good. Oh, that's gonna be good. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna might try to pick it up next week. Who knows? But hey, if you want to feed my coffee addiction, Cash App and PayPal, links in the description down below. If you want to help my coffee endeavors and excursions, it still supports the show. Oh boy. Oh, okay, I'm having too much fun. Let's get back down to the thing. LA Vox, great channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. Again, keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing. Subscribe and keep on subscribing if you haven't already, so you know exactly what we got going on, and come join this empire, because I'm telling you, it's the best place to be. You ain't gonna have no more fun rather than right here talking about the world of combat sports and beyond. No question about it. It's gonna be some fun. Let me keep on reading. Chilpin Lopez is an A-level. It's Tio. Wait a minute. Whoa. It's Tio. Tio is your A-level guy. Wow. I was not expecting that of all names. Man. But let me read the reason. Tio is the A-level guy that crossed my radar for certain loss, or for certain that lost to Cambosos. It's crazy. Man. Shoot. Look, hey. We'll give it to him. Tio. If you're listening, brother, you just crossed the bar. We can give you whatever you did to whatever you did, but it must be something spectacular. Because you done turned Ryan Gray's 3-name A-list into a 4-name A-list. Could you believe it? But I'm in shock. My goodness. But I'm not detracting against it. I'm just like, I just wasn't expecting it. My gosh. Dang. Lord. Was it the fight with what fight did it? What fight did it? Was it the fight with Barbosa that did it? I'm interested. What was it that transpired? Was it a performance that you looked back on? Was it the performance against Lomachenko that you got some new perspective on? Was it the fight against Taylor that all of a sudden showed you, oh my gosh, hey, yeah, no, this is a real deal? I really want to know, what was the turning point? That's so interesting. Again, hey, I'm not addicted to coffee, okay? I'm simply just a lover in the morning. I only drink 1 cup. I ain't drinking 3 or 4 a day. I'm only drinking 1. I ain't like that. I might drink another for dessert on occasion when it's like, ooh, we having, a good time. Okay, I'm just, I want something sweet. We ain't got nothing in the house. Okay, make a sweet cup of Joe and maybe put some whipped cream on it. But 2 at max. That's it. And that's rare. That's very rare. I think the only time I ever had 2 was when I was doing this show, doing a live stream at 12 in the morning, and then 8 o'clock at night. 12 in the morning, and then it was 12 in the morning for one of the Japanese cards. I think it was for the Junto fight, and then we had to get up later on that morning at 12:30 to do a show that same day on Thursday. I remember. Lord, I remember that. Yeah, I think that's the only time. So it ain't often. Let me see. Algira, what's good with you, Algira kid? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Crawford may win. Depends. Yeah. Hey, look, this fight with Crawford. I'm telling you, this is not something that is just a given that Canelo's going to be able to take this. We've seen this before with Sugar Ray Leonard, and it has been widely stated by multiple people, even people in this chat, that people feel that Crawford is the better fighter of the two, though it may be a slim margin. As a fighter, many people feel that Crawford's better. But it's the size combined with the closely competitive skill that Canelo brings to this fight that turns this into a very dangerous affair. Also, Warlock Boxing, hey brother, how you doing? Good, thank you for tuning into the show. So glad that you're with us on today. Appreciate you tuning in with us. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions on anything that we're discussing today. Again, we got Canelo and Crawford. We got Jerron Boots in the shoot. I even forgot we got Dana White and the UFC. Doggone signing with Paramount. We got to talk about that as well. And a plethora of other things. Moses and Talma, we're going to touch on that later on in the show. We got a lot to discuss, and we appreciate you tuning in thus far. I do believe it. Let me see. It was the fight with Loma and Barboza. Those were the ones that did it for me. Okay. All right. I can't capitulate. I understand. My issue, I got T.O. as a B+, but at the same time, I got T.O. as a B-. Because it depends on the T.O. that comes from day to day. The ebbs and flows are the highest of highs. Again, he's beating Lomachenko. He's outboxing Lomachenko at times. But brother, the lowest of lows, the brother's losing to Kambosos. And should have lost to Ortiz. And should have lost to Sandor. He definitely should have lost to Sandor Martin. Definitely should have lost that fight. But those types of again, the consistency for me is a big thing with your individual performance. I value that highly. T.O., he just hasn't been, to my want, the consistent high-level fighter that I know he can be. Gordo Lopez, he can be that every time, but he hasn't been that every time. He's been more consistent with that of recent times. If he keeps this up, okay, yeah, hey, I'm right there with you. Like I said, he can beat Devin Haney. He can be Ryan Garcia. He can be Roller. This brother can be undisputed at 147. The toughest issue is going to be, again, the behemoth that is Brian Norman Jr. And even then, I give to you a world's better shot at beating Brian Norman than Devin Haney at beating Brian Norman. Oh, he can do that. No question he can. It's just him being the fighter. The outside issues problematic, absolutely. But as a fighter, with what he can be, can he consistently stay at that level? And stay what he did against Barboza all throughout. If he does that, great. I ain't got no issue. But that's my gripe. At least for me. But let me keep on reading. Love King, hey brother, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. So glad you with us on today. Let me see. The undercard is disappointing. Ooh yeah. That undercard is not a laughing matter. And I mean that in the most disrespectful way possible. Because if let me pull it up real quick. So I can get the call. Hopefully, doggone, I hope it ain't no. Is it? Yep, right here. In fact, I'll post it for people that don't know. I'll post it on the card right here for the world to be able to see. In fact, can I make myself a little bit bigger? Should I make myself a little bit bigger? Just a tad. Just a tad. A little bit bigger. But as you can see, and I'm not going to play the sound because I ain't trying to mess with that volume fighting against me. But as you can see right now, Callum Walsh versus Muhammad Akali versus John. Christian and Billy versus Martinez. That's going to be a good fight. Callum Walsh versus Vargas it could be better from the standpoint of name recognition. Now, from the standpoint of what these fights look like they're going to be, at least based off of if they are going to be like the Christian and Billy fight, they can all be unexpected wars that are like, oh, while the name value may not look as high, the quality is going to be something great if we're going down that matchmaking. And also, don't forget, for the prelims before the main card, we still got, it hasn't been announced yet, but I think we still got fighters that were around that, or that were going through the circuit of the public sparring session That Turkey out should go sit in the big old gym, and people get chosen from that sparring session to get a shot at the or to fight on the prelims of this card. So it could still be, while the names may not be as recognizable, the action could be incredible. Because you also got to understand, this is Netflix. And Turkey, with working with Netflix, is operating under the same banner as he's doing Riyadh season, from the standpoint of, we got to make sure that the event that we put on is indeed worthwhile and worth everybody actually tuning into. And if we can get these fights from top to bottom to be quality, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. If these fights, though they may not look great tonight, if we can get these fights to be like the fights in Japan, then this card's going to be great. If it's like that, the card's going to be great. If it's like that. But again, it's going to have to be. Because the names outside of Canelo and Crawford, the names showing up ain't selling. Again, this ain't November 22nd. This ain't Benavidez versus Yard with Brian Norman versus Devin Haney, with Bam Rodriguez, with I think like 3 or 4 of the names I'm forgetting. That's just banger after banger. Oh, by the way, Archie Benavidez is also fighting on that card. Don't forget that. That November 22nd is looking like definitively the best on paper card that we have all year long, outclassing anything that we've seen all year. But hopefully, and I'm trusting Turkey with this, and Lord knows it can backfire or it can be great. Prayerfully that this card actually lives up to the expectations of, it may not be big in name value outside of the headliner, but my gosh, you do not want to miss the entirety if it banks out right, because it could all be action packed, similar to the cards that we have in Japan, where no matter who you know or who you don't know, you tune in at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, because, brother, you're going to get a show for the entirety of the thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you've been up with us watching those Japanese cards. It's insane. It is indeed insane. But let me keep on reading. What you all got to say? It should be Mbili versus Iglesias. Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at that fight. I wouldn't have been mad at that fight. I would have really liked that fight for this card. But we got what we got. Hopefully, it works out. Hopefully. But going to the main event of this card, Canelo versus Crawford, again, it is now 1 month away, and we're officially in that home stretch. It is fight season now. It's time. If you weren't excited before, it's time to get on the ball, brother. I don't know where you've been or what you've been doing. Not you singling anybody out. Not you behind the screen. Yeah, you. I'm looking at you in the kitchen or on the couch or cooking or in your car, wherever you are. Yeah, I see you. Stop looking at the phone and get on the road. But I see you. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you need to be, if you have not gotten yourself amped up for this, you need to start getting yourself amped up for this. Because it's more than history. This is a turning point for both of these people's careers. There's a lot more on the line than just the wins and losses. There is a real possibility that if Crawford loses this fight, while it's highly unlikely, it's a possibility he could be like, I'm done. It could be. I tried everything. I did everything at my weight class. If I beat Canelo at 150, at 168, some people say he would retire. But it's looking like he's saying, per his words, after I beat Canelo, I'll come back down to 154 and do it again, in terms of becoming undisputed again. Crawford's words, not mine. So we got the thought process of the road for Crawford if he wins. But if he loses, while I don't think he'll call it quits, there is an inkling that we could see, all right, I'm done. I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. There's no point in me trying to prove anything else. And I walk away. There's that possibility. For the side of Canelo, if he loses this fight, but now it's a bit more of a slippery slope because he's not going to retire, or at least that's not as much of a concerning implication. Because Crawford's older, 38 years old for Terrence Crawford versus 36 for Canelo Alvarez, which would be insane if a nearly 40-year-old Crawford beat a still in prime 36-year-old Canelo. That would be ridiculous. But on the side of Canelo, the more the concern is, will he become reclusive in his road to success after Crawford if he loses? Will it be that, okay, yeah, I'm not going to go through any sort of test at all if he loses to Terrence Crawford? Though it would be now, okay, the gates are wide open for the likes of Benavidez, the likes of Beterbiev, the likes of Christian and Billy, anybody. Shiraz even more than ever to want to take on those chests. And yes, we already know Shiraz, if Canelo beats Crawford, is the mandatory for Canelo's undisputed title, or at least for one of the belts. He'll be fighting for all the belts when he would never be getting the ring with them. So, okay, that's one. But then afterwards, will he still do the thing of, I can do what I want and I don't have to capitulate to the whims of the people? And do a little bit what Tank did. I don't need big tests anymore because I'm Canelo Alvarez. Could that be a situation that takes place? And I'm scared that might be what happens. Shoot, I'm scared that's going to happen if he wins. Let's be real. I'm scared that's going to happen even if Canelo beats Terrence Crawford. Though he's got a 4-fight plan with Turkey Al-Sheikh, with the second fight being Canelo versus Crawford. That third and fourth fight, though we think it would be Dave Benavidez, but we could see Canelo just say, nah, I'm good. And just walk away. Or he goes and says that third fight will be Shiraz. Again, if going along if he beats Crawford, that third fight will be Hamza Shiraz. And then that fourth fight wouldn't be Dave Benavidez. Even if Benavidez won the undisputed, or at least, or going off the backs of what we know now, even if Benavidez beats Beterbiev, which is now a fight that's being talked about, we're going to address that. Then it would be potentially Canelo versus one of them instead of Benavidez. One last crack at Bebo, hypothetically. Or even just a contender at 175, but not a, hard-pressed one name, however many letters, Dave Benavidez. For those of you who follow WWE, you know what I was, you know what I was referencing. It's hard to tell you so, but I want to hear from you. Like, if you can chat, some of y'all might be driving. Hey, be real. I don't want you swerving off to try to try to engage with the show. But I do want to hear from you all. Is there a fear that you have that Canelo, win or lose, after this fight with Crawford, will not take any real risk from this point on and go down the road or go down the rabbit hole even further of the light or of these same inklings that we've seen with Tank Davis, and just fight nobody? And potentially be like, I can just cruise and just do nothing else and keep on waiting out there, Benavidez. Not attempt to go back up to 175 anymore unless it's against Bebo. And even then, that fight right now is looking very much not as likely. And then just rest and abide at 168 doing the bare minimum. Giving Berlanga a rematch. Who knows? Maybe Carlos Adames moves up to 168. He might give him a shot after beating Shiraz if he gets through Shiraz. And then maybe he gives a shot to Christian and Billy, though Christian and Billy has been I believe he's been a mandatory, or at least no more contender, for a hot minute now. getting in his last fight, getting the 1 round KO, looking very much impressive. Though I don't think he can beat Canelo, but might get a shot. But even then, would it be a situation where I'm not taking any test, and even that's too much for me to want to capitulate to? Though he says he's about, I'm fighting anybody. I want the hardest competition. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. It's a concern. It really is a concern. Also, Mike Huncho, hey, what you doing? All right, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here with us all today. Please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. And again, I want to hear your voice, your concerns, your qualms, or even your predictions for this fight. Because even beyond that, as the fight itself, brother, again, right now, Crawford was at 185 at one point. He reported it was at 185. Has been cutting weight. Is going to be at 168. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe 167. You're probably going to come in at the actual weight limit. So now, the issue is, do y'all think that Crawford can actually beat Canelo? Because I've given you my opinions on it all. I've objectively saying yes. Though I believe Canelo can win. But like I said, every day, I'm eking up. I'm eking up to saying Crawford can beat him. I really am. I'm really eking up to say that Crawford can beat Canelo. The more I am looking, the more I am seeing the pitfalls of Canelo. Even taking into account the power, I'm really getting to the point that as much as this fight should not be on paper a 50-50 affair, it's getting, in my mind, it's turning into a 50-50 affair. And I'm scared. Because either I'm overthinking this, or I'm actually seeing something that's starting to say, Crawford can do this. More than can do this, but he will do it. I still got Canelo right now, but brother, it's now, it ain't nearly as far off. It's getting closer every day, at least for me. You know, I am concerned. I'm very concerned. But let me keep on reading. Popular names don't guarantee great fights. It can be two bums. They can give us a better fight. Case in point, Progress versus Georgia. Yeah. That is a good point. It can be a very much, but see, here's the thing. The issue is, or rather, the problem is, because of where the sport is right now, and actually this is a perfect segue into what we have with the likes of the UFC signing the $1 billion deal with Paramount. And again, this is actually the perfect segue for that, as we're just very quickly switching gears, and we're gonna get back to the point. We will. And wait, hold on. We got another chat. Let me see. Canelo is taking a very hard fight, and Crawford, dare I say, he is the underdog according to boxing experts, pundits, and YouTube channel. So, now I see underdog. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna address the Dana White UFC situation. We are. Because it speaks to what's going on in boxing and in the combat sports world as a whole with the UFC. But this, I don't think that it's that Canelo's the underdog. I think it's the fact that it's widely been recognized that Crawford at this stage in life is the better fighter than Canelo. He uses more stuff. He does more things. He has more that he can delve into from both sides of the aisle. Southpaw and orthodox. Literally. Right-handed or left-handed, he's able to do whatever he wants in elegant succession. He lacks a lot less than what Canelo lacks at this stage in his career. But the issue is Canelo is not so far gone that he is just there's no contest. And that size is the only thing making this fight competitive. As I've said before, Canelo and Crawford, if we're going to go IQ and skill level, in reality, brother, it is, if Crawford's up here, Canelo is like here. And there may be a difference, but it ain't something that ain't insurmountable. It ain't. That is what makes this fight so intriguing. It is while the boxing ability may have this level of gap with Crawford being up here and Canelo being down here, but it's that physical capability that Canelo brings to the table that balances that out now. Because again, you think of it this way. Think of it this way. Imagine, how do we say this? What's a good comparison? Imagine if for this fight in particular, y'all remember Tyson Fury and Usyk, and how I was saying that Usyk was the league's better fighter. He's been the best heavyweight in the world for a couple years, better than the likes of Tyson Fury. Though Tyson Fury, again, was the champion. Usyk was the better guy. Both of them were champions at one point in time. But Usyk was the best brother in the heavyweight division. I was saying, people didn't agree. And many people were saying that Tyson Fury is just too big to be beaten and nobody can outbox him. But I was consistently saying that Usyk is the better boxer. And that Usyk's boxing ability is enough to overshadow what Tyson brings to the table. And lo and behold, it was true. That's because the boxing ability between them is indeed, while it's both competitive, it's wide enough that, Tyson can't do nothing with Usyk. This ain't that same situation. Imagine if Tyson Fury's boxing ability wasn't good, it was also elite. Because I've been saying Tyson Fury is a good heavyweight with elite size. He's got movement that's good. And at that size, in this era, it is elite for the time. But if we're talking about what he is against actual elite boxing, he's not the best elite boxer. He is a good to great boxer with all-time great size and length. And that size, coupled with that good to great boxing ability, makes him so hard to beat. But off of just boxing ability alone, he can be caught up to in terms of Tyson Fury. Now, imagine if Tyson Fury was a legitimately elite, skillful boxer that was around that same threshold of how we view Usyk as a technical aficionado. He was also in that same realm. Now you got yourself, oh my gosh, that's a different fight. That's what we're dealing with this one. That's what we're dealing with this situation. The difference is, in this situation, Crawford's the underdog because physically, he has shown that there is an opportunity that he can get up to the level of physicality necessary to combat against Canelo. Though skill-wise, you are seen as better. But Canelo already has that physical advantage by seemingly a lot, as well as his elite talent, which is elite, is on your level. Not just because, it's some of the pound for pound best. It is legitimately comparable between the two. That both of y'all didn't get to where you were off of just size alone. It was skill level. Brother, Canelo's one of the smartest fighters in all the globe. You don't get to 154 to 160 to 175 and become a champion by just being big and strong. You don't. He's been undersized his entire career. But when he moved up to 168, it was already like, what are you thinking? It's insane. But he was able to do it because he's that type of legitimately great intellectual talent that Crawford's got to overcome. But it's somebody who's on your level as a technical fighter, who's also can speed-wise ain't too far off from you. Hand speed-wise, but it definitely ain't too off from you. Or definitely ain't too far off from you in terms of Canelo against Crawford and his hand speed. With the durability, with the strength, with the power, with the chin on top of the legitimate skill that he has that has made him the dominant man at 168. Brother, it's you got the tools to potentially be able to beat him. He's got some of those same tools as well. In the same elite fashion, it's going to be, can your physicality get to the point where, yeah, I can get there to withstand and hold my own against that behemoth that is Canelo? Or will it be the same situation like with Canelo against Bebo, where Canelo physically just couldn't get with Bebo? At that point in time, at that stage in his career, Canelo couldn't have the stamina at 175 with the added weight because his body couldn't take it. He was slower, more sluggish, and was not able to match the physicality that Bebo was putting up on, and was also unable to impose his own normal brand of physicality on Bebo. The brother could take it and could dish it out better than Canelo could. And Canelo got stripped away. That's what can happen with Crawford. Though I'm not saying it's gonna, I'm saying it can. Absolutely can. That's the uphill battle that makes Crawford the underdog. Crawford is the guy that you may have the IQ and talent to beat Canelo. But Canelo's got that, unlike Usyk, Canelo has that same brand of talent at that similar elite threshold. Not good to great. It's elite. It's absolutely elite. And he's got the better physicals to boot. You got to be able to beat him on a physical level in some regard in order to be able to get this win. That's where the issue comes into play that we won't know until fight night. Can he or can he not get up to that threshold of, I cannot just hold my own, but I can push him back. I can push him back. If you can push Canelo back on top of being lateral, but if you can push him back, that opens up a whole new element. It's a whole new threshold. But that's the issue. And rather more so, that is the question in particular when looking at this fight with Canelo and Crawford as to why Crawford would be more so the underdog. Though channels have him as winning, it is widely understood. But Crawford, it's going to be a big uphill mountain to climb to be able to do it. I guarantee you. Let me see. Here's a short list of people who picked Crawford: Robert Garcia, Froch, Ward, Bradley, Atlas. Teddy picked him? Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Wait. Oh, I didn't know Teddy Atlas picked him. I didn't know that. Timothy Bradley, I knew he was gonna pick Crawford, more so because he's been on Canelo, or he's been on Canelo's case for a hot minute. He does not like Canelo. He's a little bit skewed in his protection of Canelo. But regardless of which, I didn't know. Robert Garcia, yeah. Andre Ward, yeah. But I didn't know Teddy Atlas chose him. That's interesting. That's really, I didn't know that, man. Oh, excuse me, and Ryan Graves, my apologies, excuse me. I forgot, Ryan Graves also chose Canelo to win, which, again, this is going to be, again, the month's ramping up. We're going to get, I promise you're going to have people changing the picks left, right, and center. Bud is coming in, Bud is the underdog, coming up 2 fights in 2 years inactivity, damage Spence, and a tough fight at 151. Now, see, the damage Spence thing I got to take offense to, because mind you, after that car crash, he had fought Ugas and Danny Garcia. Ugas and Danny Garcia. A prime Danny Garcia in the first fight, and a more prime Ugas second fight. And was able to looked great. Outside of the whole mouthpiece situation, which again was because the veneers and all. But the butter, Ugas ain't fought since Errol Spence. And Danny Garcia versus Spence was the last great fight or good fight that we've seen Danny Garcia get into. I can't remember Danny Garcia got stopped in that fight, regardless of which. Outside that, I don't think Danny Garcia's ever been the same. Both of them ever been the same. And this was post car crash. So I can't buy into that because again, I was talking about that in the build up to Crawford versus Canelo. When I made my pick that Crawford will win by knockout. I think in round 8. I think I called it round 8 and it happened in round 9. But regardless of which, I can't buy into that. But the inactivity, I completely agree with. Coming up 2 weight classes immediately to fight, I definitely agree with that. That's gonna be dangerous. Boy, I'm telling you, does anybody think they can pull this off? I think it would be Crawford. Though I do think at this point in time that Canelo will win the fight. If anybody can accomplish it, it would be him. Let me see. So we either agree it's a close fight and give full credit to the winner, or say it was a cherry pick and deny said credit to the winner. Oh no, we ain't doing that. Oh no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that at all. I promise you, this fight, if Canelo beats Crawford, brother, all due respect, that's great. That's a great win. Muhammad Ali beating Bob Foster was a great win. One of the greatest light heavyweights of all time, one of the hardest hitters of all time. Coming through and Ali was able to beat him after Foster, I think, was the only buddy to cut him, at least amongst that, reigning era. That was a great win. We don't take that away. Nor do we take that away from the likes of we don't take it away from Ali beating a great light heavyweight who moved up. Nor do we take it away from Bob Foster, who moved up to fight Ali in an insane test. Both things can be true. Both things will be true for this fight. But don't forget, Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight Marvin Hagler. When Leonard was in 135, 147, or somewhere around that range, when he first started his career. And by the time he was older, fighting against Marvin Hagler, who was still in his prime, but that fight at 160, we were all scared. He had another fight before he had that fight with, and Leonard had a tune-up. A white brother, tall white brother who had a lot of power. And Leonard got knocked down against, I can't remember the name, but he was still able to overcome that. But still, that didn't give it a great look that, oh man, you can't beat Hagler. Next thing you know, they fight a couple years later, fight of the year. Incredible. Marvin Hagler felt he was robbed. And he said, no, I'm done with this sport. Y'all robbed me for the last time. Ridiculous. All of his losses were controversial in terms of Marvin Hagler. But that fight in particular, I strongly believe that Hagler won that fight. Strongly. But did that take away from the performance? Did that dilute what Marvin Hagler was, or what that fight was, or what Leonard was? It didn't. It didn't. When we're not holding that, and again, respectfully, holding that stupid type of sentiment in terms of downplaying and diluting wins and losses, or downplaying and diluting wins and upplaying and accentuating losses based on certain circumstances. Yes, context dictates that a win or loss will mean something different for each fighter. But this does not mean that the fight itself is not a fight that is still a great thing, nor is a loss a bad loss. It can be an impactful loss, not necessarily a bad loss. Because if you lose against a great brother, guess what? You lost to a great brother. You lose to a great sister, you lost to a great sister. When Christy Martin lost to Layla Ali, brother, was it a bad loss for Christy Martin, who was the women's Mike Tyson, knocking everybody left, right, and center? Was one of the biggest pioneers in terms of one of the first major stars to get boxing on the mat for women, and was doing it in a fashion that was showed, hey, brother, women can swat just like men. Give them the respect and let them show what they can do. Did that take away that Christy Martin got beat and got stopped by Layla Ali? because she moved up in weight? And does that dilute the win that Layla Ali got on Martin just because Martin was coming up to try to fight her? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Christy tried to be great. She got beat by a bigger fighter who was also a better fighter and just couldn't. It just happened. But it was still a moment in time that, man, it's going to be remembered. And it should be deriving respect from the public. And it does. Christy Martin's getting a biopic made out of her. Years too late, but should have made it, but thankfully she's still alive. But she's getting a biopic made out of her. Layla Ali, we've already covered what she is and what she has done. It's great. This is a win or lose situation that is not so detrimental, though it will be impactful. It's going to be something serious. Again, we've already said the stipulations. Canelo can lose his spot at being the greatest Mexican of all time if he does lose to the likes of Crawford. And, he can lose his spot in the running of trying to be one of the greatest Mexican boxers of all time. Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez, and others. But if he wins, he keeps on that low. He keeps on that road. If he does lose this fight, that road is going to get a major obstacle put in its way for that type of legacy to be achieved. That's the truth. But that does not make it a loss that's just, the brother's a bum. No, it's got high stakes, but it should have high stakes. He's the favorite. He should handle his business. No question about it. But it still is against a great fighter. Spence losing to Crawford was not a terrible situation, though it was an impactful situation because the brother lost to who? One of the greatest fighters of this era. When George Foreman, and my favorite fighter of all time, Joe Frazier, when he got beat, the kingdom come by George Foreman, it still hurts for me to watch that fight to this day. Guess what? Did that fight dilute what Joe Frazier was as a boxer? Or did that help perpetuate, hey brother, this cat going up against an Olympic gold medalist, who Joe Frazier was also a gold medalist, came through and got up 6 times against George Foreman, who was destroying him. Stylistically, a perfect match, but he did not quit. He literally did. His corner had to stop the fight because he was going to keep getting up. He didn't. He got stopped. But the brother, he got stopped standing. And he had, because he was going to attempt to die in the ring if it meant getting the win anybody anyway, because he was just that type of dog. But that did not hurt his legacy. It didn't. But it fought him a second time when he was older. Ridiculous. Because that was just what he was. It helped to chisel out the aura and the legacy and the name and the identity of what Joe Frazier was. Though that loss was impactful, it was not detrimental. Ali losing to Ken Norton was impactful, but it was not detrimental. Sonny Liston losing to Ali was impactful, but was not detrimental. Every loss is not a detrimental loss, though it is an impactful loss. Just the truth. This, if we see Canelo lose, it's gonna be impactful. Oh, no question about it. They're gonna ruin what the brother is. They're gonna take away credit from Crawford, nor make the legacy of Canelo obsolete. And if Canelo does win, it's not going to turn Crawford into a bum who didn't deserve anything, who was never great, who would have never beaten Spence. And all of a sudden, all this stuff with him, you would never beat Spence at 154. See, you ain't going to do nothing at 154 now. When you come back down, should you come back down, go on and retire. Quit. It ain't going to lead to that. It ain't and should not lead to that type of discussion on the back end either for Crawford if he loses to Canelo. Because that's just he lost against a great fighter. He lost against a great fighter. People that think like, again, nerd, not saying you think like that. No, I'm not putting the blame on anybody. But the rhetoric that we see oftentimes from people going through and trying to make Our wins or losses make or break when they aren't make or break? Trying to make people feel like if a fighter loses against this brother, who, again, if he does lose, it wouldn't be so far out the realm because the other guy is great. All of a sudden, he was never good in the first place, and you're stupid being a fan. But we are better than that. We are smarter than that. My gosh, pull yourself together. We are better than that. We know better than that. This is ridiculous. With that type of mindset bleeds through the public eye and bleeds around the public conscious, because it's a facade that only makes everything detrimental. Because at that point in time, you lose and you prop it up in a negative light as, oh yeah, you were never great. Or you make excuses why this brother, this, that, and the third. If we're going to go to Deontay Wilder route, tainted water, brother was weight cut, he wasn't serious, all that stuff. Well, next thing you know, brother, nothing that happens in the boxing world actually matters anymore. Because everything's either got a caveat or everything's the end of the world. No legacy is set in stone. No legacy is a legacy, because every legacy can be torn down and mean nothing by the drop of a hat with one loss. Just like that, gone, snap your fingers, gone, done away with, just blown up. They mean nothing. That's how people are in the moment. That's how people are. It's the stupidest thing. It's the stupidest thing, yet it keeps on happening. My goodness, my gosh. I'm sorry. Don't mean to go on a tangent. I do apologize. But it's again, I'm not saying you all are doing that. I'm just voicing a frustration with the public that I continually hear whenever we're talking about this sport, specifically with big fights like this, that it turns into, if you don't do this, you're nothing. And if you do something great, well, then there's either a caveat to it, and or it was a fluke, and or the brother that did lose in the unforeseen circumstance, all of a sudden we're questioning, oh, was this brother ever anything in the first place? Were we wrong for thinking this man was great at all? That's the stupidest mindset. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. It's insane. It's so insane. Let me see, what I see from fans is that they say Crawford is superior and will beat Canelo, but will not give Canelo credit if they beat. But yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Slow, methodical, and predictable, and telegraphed. Slow, methodical, and predictable, and telegraphed is Canelo's kryptonite. And the most important, there's a blueprint to beating him. There's no blueprint for beating Terrence Crawford. That is a good point. But can he do what Bevo did and or do what Floyd did? He can also do what Gennady Golovkin did. Though that boy, if he fights like Gennady Golovkin against Canelo in the controversial 2 of the 3 fights that we thought Gennady at least won one of them, that would be ridiculous. Just theoretically, there's three plans of attack of how to beat Canelo, hypothetically. But my gosh, it's going to be tough to do. Also, Teddy Berkshire, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in on the show. So glad you're with us today. My gosh, let's see, what up? Didn't need to push him back. Y'all need Errol Spence reenactment. Y'all, well, let me put you back. Y'all about to see Errol Spence. You think it's going to be dominant? Hey, brother, if he does, look, if he beats Canelo, like Canelo beats Spence, brother, if he beats Canelo like Canelo beats Spence, I might, brother, it's bad, not bad, it's good enough if he beats Canelo. Insane. But he knocks him out and beats him in the dominant fashion that he beats Spence. I might have this but a top 5 all time. I'm sorry. I might have to do it. If he does that. That, I'm not laughing because it's I'm not laughing because it's a ridiculous thing. I'm laughing because, brother, it's actually a possibility. So if that does happen, that would be that would be insane. Let me see. Ain't got long. What you think about Miller? Oh, okay. Sorry. We'll move on. We will move on. Ain't got long. What you think about Miller Hunter? I have a draw. Now again, Don King did put out a cease and desist. Apparently, I don't even know that fight if that fight's gonna happen because Don King was like, "Hey, Hunter's my fighter. We ain't letting that slap." But still. As again, I see you, Teddy Buckshot. We're gonna go to the next question because I don't want to waste no more time. But yeah, but it's like I gotta have to draw Jarrell Miller. Like, see, Jarrell is a brother who regardless of what we think about him, he's not a top contender, sure, but he'll turn a fight into a competitive. He's done it for the past like 3 fights. He almost beat Daniel Dubois and took him to nearly 12 before getting stopped and unlocked something new. He fought Andy Ruiz to a draw, which a fight I thought Jarrell Miller won. He can definitely shoot. I dare say I got Miller beating Hunter if that fight does happen. And look at the whole cease and desist stuff that goes back with regards to which excuse me. Nerd, thank you. I appreciate you for correcting me. False Ugas fought Barrios and also, yes, my apologies. I do capitulate. I got that wrong. My bad. So, again, I'm thinking 100 miles a minute. It's no excuse, though. Got to make sure I'm on my stuff. Absolutely. Let me keep on reading. Oh, shoot. Hey, Sister Roswell. Hey, brother. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining the show. So glad that you with us on today. Let me see. Watch the great. Good to be back, brother. Salute to you. Hey, salute to you as well. So glad that you're here with us on this show. Again, leave a like on the stream. If you're tuning in, keep on sharing the show. We got a lot of topics that we still going to be covering. It's been great. I've been loving what we've been doing today. I appreciate it. Oh, and if you want to support the show, Cash App and PayPal for this point in time. And links in the description down below if you want to give us support to your channel. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And we appreciate everybody tuning in right now. Let me see. Yeah, they're gonna make every excuse in the book of Crawford wins, and I'm here for it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a show. I promise you, it's gonna be a show. Crawford's gonna fight like Crawford. Forget Bebo and Floyd. They are way different. That's true. Now, what I think we're gonna see. Crawford takes the notes that he saw from Floyd and from Bebo and does it in his own way. Because the holes are still there. And Crawford can do it in his own way. But he still got to know what to look out for. And just because, again, don't fight like them. But use what they fought with in your game plan. And you can be successful, at least in my estimation. And Crawford beat you. I did see. If Crawford beat some as bad as Spencer, they're going to cry snack. Hey, brother, they're going to ask for every drug test in the book if he does it that bad. I go, oh, shoot. Hey, Fight Buzz, brother. Hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. I appreciate you tuning back in. I ain't seen you in a hot minute. I was referenced. In fact, you came up in conversation last week on Friday, and I couldn't remember your channel because we were talking about how you would put me on to the populace of or the Hispanic population down in Mexico and their fandom for Canelo and David Benavidez, and you were the one that referenced it to me or taught me about the swaying tides of that whole situation with the support of the country. Who supports who? And how we got at that point in time, it had gotten split down the middle. It might have been even more pushed to the side of Benavidez since that conversation, roughly a year ago, just about. So hey, I referenced you. I wish you were there because I couldn't remember your channel. But no, Fight Buzz is the butter. It's the butter that put me on to that information. I appreciate it. I'm so glad that you tuning in with us, man. Hey, man, it does my heart good to see you back here. I appreciate it. If you haven't, go ahead and like the stream. And keep on, and again, I appreciate you supporting the show, man. It means a lot. Man, we're going to have a lot of conversation on this show. So if you ever want to chime in, feel free, brother. I'm here for it. Absolutely. But let me see. I take the fight from Skull because that showed a lot about the current Canelo. It did. You're right. Though that fight was horrible, though Skull, again, we've had our gripes plenty of times with the fight with Skull. But at the same time, that was also Canelo never getting out of first gear. Yes, he doesn't like runners, but we've seen him, like against Charlo, like against Amir Khan, like against Lara, Trout. We've seen him put in effort to try to mitigate that movement. Get a play. Another one. He didn't try against Skull, more so because he was annoyed. And he was like, I don't got to do much to beat him. But also, I just don't want to give my all to put in effort for a brother that didn't want to really make this into a fight. And so I don't know how much if I was in Crawford's camp, if I was Bomac, I don't know how much I would buy in to taking a page out of that fight to use for my game plan preparation. Because that was the worst Canelo, because that was a Canelo that was using minimal effort. That's not in any way going to be the Canelo that shows up against Crawford. I know that. Just like the Francis Ngannou fight, though, again, it did show something. It wasn't deep that when Tyson Fury fought against Francis Ngannou, but that was nowhere close to the Canelo, to the Fury that we knew. Even at Fury's worst, we ain't never seen him like that. And we all understood, brother, against Usyk, that brother definitely ain't showing up. That Fury is definitely not going to show up against Usyk. That was the last time we saw Fury in the ring before the Usyk fight. So I'm thinking, hey man, I don't know how much. I believe that was the last time that we saw Fury in the ring. It might have been against Dillian White, but that might have been before Ngannou. I can't remember how the timeline went. But regardless of which, I don't know how much I could take away from that fight, knowing what type of Canelo showed up at night. That was a phone-it-in Canelo. That wasn't really attempting. But the movement could be useful. It just, I would have to, really eat the meat and spit out the bones of that particular fight, because delve too much into it. Now you're going into a version of Canelo that will never show up against the likes of Crawford, almost assuredly. And so let me see. I appreciate it, brother. I love you, channel man. You're great at what you do. Hey, look, I'm just trying. I'm not saying I'm phenomenal. Let me be clear. I'm nothing special. I am just trying to make a living. I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to make some money doing what I love. Hopefully we can turn this into a real empire type situation. A global model, a real vocal channel that, vibes with the people, doing what we do best. Sitting, talking, and enjoying. Having an honest debate, honest conversation. Just trying to keep it as 100 as I can with whatever I do. Giving you what I think y'all deserve. So hopefully you're enjoying it. And hey, if you don't, just stick around for the laughs. Nonetheless, but let me see. Oh wait, I got Iglesias versus is it Shinskin? That dude got robbed in the last fight with Skull. Ooh, do I remember that fight? I might need to watch that fight back. Oh wait, no, the dude that got robbed in his fight with Skull. Oh, okay, no, yeah. Okay, I know which fight you're talking about. Yeah, he did, he absolutely did. But I still got Iglesias knocking him out. I got Iglesias knocking him out, at least for me. I take the fight from Majimov because it showed a blueprint on how to beat Crawford with pressure, feints, and precise angles of posture. I hear you. Let me see. The problem with that, Canelo moving nothing like Crawford, he doesn't feint a lot. More than that. See, nerd, more than that, if we're gonna flip the script and say what Canelo can use to study Crawford, Majimov, the issue with that, if Crawford moved as much as Majimov and feinted that much, he would gas out quicker than Majimov did in this fight with Virgil Ortiz and in the fight with Kid Crawford. He would. See, Canelo's stamina is a major issue. It's an unrequited pain, but it is still a pain nonetheless that the public may not perpetuate, but it is a reality. even at 168, though he can fight for 12. Yes, sure. We know it. We've seen it, absolutely. But from 175, we saw major pitfalls. Even at 168, we've seen him really gas out at times. John Ryder, he did get tired. Berlanga, not as much, but still a little bit of heaviness, just a little bit. It has happened at 168 in the later stages of his career. Skull more so he was well rested because he never pushed on the gas, but he's going to have to push on the gas against Crawford. That's going to require some energy. Him fighting that much and moving like that, even if it's a third of that, but that's going to be heavy on the gas tank of Canelo. If we start seeing Canelo going, shaking, bringing up his shoulders and really catching his breath, but that's more than just him trying to stay calm, cool, and collected. He's starting to run low. And with the precision and potentially unexpected power that we see Crawford have at 168, if he starts attacking the body like we know he can, and really digging down deep and playing the same game that Canelo did, or Canelo has done against all of his opponents in the later stage of the fight, hey man, that can be dangerous. I don't think Crawford or Canelo can use that aspect of Madrimov to be successful. Because it would be, as much as I'm shooting you, I'm shooting me. As much as I'm, this would be a Molotov cocktail to throw into the ring. But as Crawford's getting burned, I'm getting burned too. I may take the worst of it depending on how that liquid explodes out of the glass and the fire ensues. I could get the worst of the blowback. I throw a grenade in the ring. Next thing you know, I'm the one that gets the most shrapnel hit against me because it backfired. But aspects of the Madrimov fight from the sense of being able to use your physicality to cause Canelo or cause Crawford to hesitate, that can be something that can actually work. That can be something that we saw Madrimov do because he was indeed, something serious. Madrimov is a strong brother. He is. Genuinely, he is. There was a level of physicality that Crawford had to think to work around. Had to be a lot more smarter and methodical with how he broke down the intricate parts of Madrimov's game plan because of the danger of what could come back at him, because of the actual pop that Madrimov had. That frame of thinking is what Canelo can use and take away from Madrimov without sacrificing the potential stamina that can potentially, if he goes too much into trying to make himself so unpredictable with feints left, right, and center, what's going to happen? That inevitably makes himself tired by the time round 7 comes around. And that can happen. And now second half of the fight, when you're closer to your reserves than you want to be, with Crawford being able to get a second wind, and again, that 6th gear, that can be dangerous. That can be very dangerous. Let me keep on reading. Ryan, let me see. Canelo's feint game is pristine, and Madrimov uses excessive movement. When he landed 4 straight rights in a row, it was leading. Not based off his move. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read this conversation. This is some good conversation. Didn't feint. Didn't feint at all last bout. Yeah, that is true. A match at the engine. Well, he's got the engine capacity, but he does it so much that he burns through it. Again, he was sick against Virgil Ortiz. Duke a pitch like that, but even still, Crawford, when he was healthy, same situation applied. Let me keep on reading. Canelo does not have that energy at all, and you also got to understand, Canelo, here's the thing. Canelo is such a different fighter from Madrimov that it might be detrimental to try to emulate the type of stuff Madrimov does. Yes, Canelo does feint. He does. Let's be clear about it. He does use feints. Head feints and foot feints. He does. But it's nowhere close to the same consistency throughout the fight, as with Magimov. It's just not. That's just the truth. Again, Canelo is a catch-and-shoot type fighter. Walk you down. His feint is open up his guard, foot feint, and then, maybe fake a jab, go to the body. Or, make you, slipping his head slightly to make you think it's going to the body. And then boom, uppercut to the head. Or it isn't even a feint. He just, because his hook comes out the same way, whether it's going downstairs or upstairs, he throws the hook, and you got to predict which way is it coming. And so his head feint, he uses feints, but it's a lot more subtle. And compared to the Magimov, it is leagues more sporadic. Leagues more sporadic than the likes of what we see with Magimov and other fighters as well, though he still does use them. If he uses feints a lot more with who Canelo is, it could still burn through his stamina a lot. Because it doesn't just, it's not, feinting ain't just about selling. You got to believe it yourself when you feinting. It's like, it takes a lot. It sounds counterintuitive, but it takes a lot to not throw something, but commit to it fully. It takes a lot. Imagine a mime. You'll get a mime. And then for my acting people out there, you'll get mimes that go through and they're sweating. They're sweating all through their costume. Out in the city, making money, or in a circus or whatever case may be, they're sweating like all get out. And it ain't just because it's hot. It's because it takes a lot of work to push something that ain't there. It takes a lot of work to build up an illusion. It takes a lot of work to make a balloon look like a rock. And you're moving back. It takes a lot of control, and it takes a lot of energy to sell that something's happening as much as it does for you to commit to something. Or excuse me, maybe not as much, but it takes a lot. It's and with Canelo, if it goes to that extreme with like with Madrigal, but that can eat away at him. That can really eat away at him. Because we've seen with Canelo, but even when he's had control of a fight, he has still gone through his reserves in the gas tank. Even when he's been able to do whatever he wants to do, he has still gotten winded, gotten tired. He has been, I'm in the deep end by the later stages of the fight, though I'm in complete control. You've seen it. That's the issue. Let me see. Bud is a counterpuncher who thrives on taking advantage of his opponents, throwing combination. Magimov didn't give him that. Instead, he would feint and then with those single power shots to catch. Yeah, that's true. Crawford, while he didn't expect it, or to catch Crawford while he didn't expect it, it was Majimov's pressure and feints that gave Crawford problems. The narrative that Crawford is a master boxer is a myth. He never figured out Magimov. Well, no, he did. Hold on, time out. He did figure out Magimov. Because notice, what was he doing all fight long? And especially, between rounds like 4 through 6, when he was starting to figure out Magimov. It wasn't just finding a way through the feints. It's more than one way to beat somebody in a fight. He started attacking the body. He started throwing shots, powerful, short, concise shots to downstairs. Straight rights. Southpaw? Yeah. Orthodox straight rights. Or would switch southpaw, straight left. When he would get on the inside, throw some short hooks. Wear down the body. And then be willing to, for the point in time, bide your time. Because what happened? Magimov slowed down by himself. Just like he did with Virgil Ortiz. It was helped along by the body work of Crawford. And by the time round 8 and on came through, when Crawford had been able to box with Magimov and have some swing rounds go his way, Guess what? Now he was able to start taking full control because now you waited out and helped you drain the stamina of a brother who was moving all the time. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, you can do the, all of a sudden you're able to do some work. All of a sudden now, his jab's coming out a little bit slower. The rhythm of Magimov is starting to change. The stamina is not letting him go through and bounce like he wanted to bounce. The feints are now more easy to read. Now I can work with this. And now I can start, boom, picking my shots, taking my time, and breaking them down. And to the point that then by rounds 10 and on, boom, it was his fight. It was. And so, no, he did figure out Magimov. He just did it in a way that was methodical. He went, mind you, he didn't get outboxed by Magimov. Let's be clear. It was a close fight because they were trading rounds with each other. But once he got control, he got control. And once Magimov's feigning started to wind down and his footwork became flat-footed, brother, just like with Virgil Ortiz, now pick him apart, pick him apart, pick him apart. That's what happened. And so it's not just, a master boxer or being a technical savant doesn't just mean round 1 through 12, you're going through and you're dominating. It's making a game plan that even whether it's close or whether it's from the jump, you're doing something or something that takes time, you're able to implement it because you see the window and you find the window and you break the window when the window becomes visible. That's what we saw Crawford do against Magic. So no, he is indeed, in my opinion, he's that brother, like, again, maybe just me seeing it, but brother, that was some masterful work. Being able to box with Magimov, and then once he got to a point where, okay, I can manage this now, beating him, not just boxing him, beating him. And being able to elevate his game as Magimov's game started to diminish. That's impressive. And so yeah, see, Crawford completely took away the lead. Like he completely went. And by the end of that fight, we weren't just saying that, oh, Crawford won a close fight, which he did. But we were saying it was a decisive, close win because the way he won, Magimov didn't have anything left to do. Crawford was at the end of the fight, but Magimov wasn't jumping. He wasn't moving. He got picked apart, and then he was able to what? Go and do what Crawford normally does. But if that fight was a 15-round fight like it used to be back in the day, then you would have really seen the damage be incurred on what Crawford would have been able to do. I guarantee you. And so he's great. He is great. If Crawford figured out Magimov, why was he still getting hit by the straight right hand? Crawford needed to win the last 2 rounds. It came down to what? Yes, it did. And he did it. And he completely won those last 2 rounds. After boxing with and then further for the last 4 rounds, nullifying and winning rounds 8 through 12. And so it was great. We're gonna have to agree to disagree. I saw Crawford that was a tougher fight. He looked lost at times and never solved Magimov's right hand. Here's the thing. I get what you're saying. Crawford got tagged a lot. Crawford did indeed struggle. It was, to my recollection, maybe outside of the Gamboa fight, in one of the bigger fights that he's had in his career, earlier in his career, 135. This was, and the Sean Porter fight. This was one of the hardest fights in Crawford's career. I'm never disputing that. I'm not saying it wasn't a struggle. I'm not saying it didn't take him a while to do and get the win and figure him out. But at the same time, there's been plenty of fights where it hasn't been clean cut in the win, but it still showed the dominance that was what what that was, excuse me, even in fights that, again, weren't clean cut, it was still showing the excellence of a fighter. Shakur Stevenson, when he fought against Oscar Valdez, but Oscar Valdez was landing that straight. When Oscar threw that straight right hand, he was landing it at will. Don't forget that. But still, Shakur was able to outbox him to get him come and figure him out. But he was still the one shot Shakur could not get away from the entirety of the fight when it was thrown. He couldn't do nothing with it. I remember, I watched that fight. We covered that fight on this show. I said if Oscar Valdez had thrown that straight right hand, that was giving Shakur at that point in time a world of trouble. If he had thrown that more consistently, he would have been able to beat him. Or at least would have been a more competitive fight. But Shakur wasn't getting away from him. Usyk, when he got caught to the body by Dubois, all of a sudden, everybody was acting like buddy that, he got robbed or whatever. Guess what? It was still a masterclass performance, even though he got tagged downstairs. Controversially, but still. We are, just because a performance shows somebody struggling, does not mean that performance is a exposure of their talent and or is an antithesis to be used against what the known notion is of who they are as a fighter. That's the truth. Even with the whole, we can go back to Boots. Even with the whole Boots fight that we're getting ready to see come up. But a Boots at 154 may not be the same Butter that we see at 147. David Benavidez was getting tagged at 175 against Gavazzi. Yes, he was. He was getting caught a lot against Gavazzi. Though he was still dominating the fight. He was getting hit. It was showing up on his face and all. And the gripes that were against Benavidez were the gripes. The power ain't the same. You were getting pushed more than, even though you were controlling the fight, you were getting pushed. He was. I know we saw it. He was. But it was still by the time the end of the fight came, we were saying, okay, yeah, nah. He did his thing and he adapted. And he was able to, even though he was still getting caught, even though it was still getting touched. Because again, everybody gets touched. Everybody gets touched up in the fight. Everybody gets punched in the fight. Getting punched isn't the issue. Like I said, when we were comparing Terrence Crawford and David Evanesian versus Boots and David Evanesian, one of the biggest gripes about that performance was, or at least against me, was the fact that, the landed numbers by David Evanesian in both fights versus Crawford and Boots were very similar. How can you say that Crawford had a better performance against Evanesian versus Boots when Boots got landed nearly at the same clip at Terrence Crawford? And you know what? It was because the context within that fight and the quality of punch that landed were the difference in what a performance was from Crawford that was great and a performance from Boots that was concerning. Because the shots that Boots was taking were shots that he was letting himself get hit by, not the opponent finding a way. And or it wasn't nearly as damaging full force types of shots that were landed on Crawford at that much of a consistent rate. Those stuff, yes, was still getting through. And don't also contextually, by the nature of how Crawford has always fought throughout his career, he is going to be prone to get tagged a lot. He is. That's the thing. And don't forget, stylistically, like he is prone to get tagged by opponents because he's trying to come forward and dominate. Truly. He's actively opening himself up to be like, yeah, I might take some stuff. Though I'm still being smart in every other aspect. He's taking risk. A lot of, he is, in a way, he is still Pound for pound, in my opinion, top three. And for me, as a talent, he's the most talented fighter in the world. As a talent. Pound for pound, as a talent, he's my number one. Pound for pound on the whole, with everything taken into account, he's top three. For most people, that's the case as well. That buddy gets tagged a lot. It ain't because he ain't doing nothing right, but the way that he fights, he is susceptible to still getting caught with stuff. Because he's looking to go and walk you down and knock you out. And the manner that he does it ain't like the manner that Tank does it. Where Tank is uber defensive for the first half of the fight, and then second half, okay, now we'll start to take some risk and go through, and okay, now I'm going to do the perfect thing to get the knockout. Ain't like that. From round one on, both of them are looking to do some damage. They're beat in the fire from the jump. So yes, they're going to get caught. But that does not negate what their greatness is in their performance. Because it's still, in totality, phenomenal. And when you look at the wide spectrum of what they do for the whole fight, all of a sudden you're like, oh, but okay, I see the story of what was going on, what was wrong, how it got corrected, and then ultimately what that correction did by the time the bell rung. And it changed the course of the fight. That's what I see when I see Terrence Crawford. And that's what makes his greatness so great for me. Because if every fight is a book and I open up the book, but I get a linear timeline of a problem and solution that got found out and adapted to. And the book turns into a whole new book by the second half of the fight. And it's already exciting in the first half. And we know, as the main character, we're talking about Terrence Crawford, but you could be even more deliberate and not getting touched like this in some situations. But because of what you want to be and who you are, it happens. And so, like, I can't, because of that, it's still masterful boxing. And because when you see the totality of the work, you're like, dang, nah, this brother really did his thing. At least for me, when I watch him. Again, if you don't agree, I completely get it. Again, agree, disagree, no problem with that. But it's just my thing. It's just my thing, at least for me. Benavidez dominated Gvozdyk. It wasn't until the last 4 rounds after guessing out that he looked bad. And again, for me, it was more so middle of the fight. And again, the activity was still there, but what was landed on him throughout the whole fight, not just with the last 4 rounds. Because again, yes, he did. He did get tired in the last 4 rounds. Yes, he did. But what I saw, there was some things I was like, ooh, yeah. It's a bit of adversity. But again, he overcame. So either way, the great things still were great. Even with David Benavidez getting caught later on in the fight more than in the first half with Gvozdyk, which is true. How he handled that level of fatigue and still was trying to push through and do everything correctly, even under the sense of, brother, I'm getting winded. That showed me something special. Because now it's like, okay, that showed me this brother is not going to decommit from the right stuff to do in a fight, even when he is on his last reserves of energy. He is still determined to be dedicated to the foundations of boxing that he is trying to train himself to be at this new division, which was great to me. Even in the bad, it was still good. Because again, it was still a great performance. It was. Listen, didn't Benavidez break his hand in that Gvozdyk fight? Did he? I don't know. I am not sure. Was it before the Gvozdyk fight that he fought with a hurt hand? No. It was in there. It was. You right. It was. He broke his hand in the middle of that fight. He did. Because I remember he was messing with the glove. Somewhere along the line of that fight, and he had did something to his hand. Yeah, I remember. You're right. He did do something to his hand in the middle of that fight, and still he fought through it. It kind of changed the game for a little bit, but still, it was great. It was great. It was, at least for me, it was still like a great performance. And many people, it was so great, we almost forgot But he broke his hand. But he did break his hand, which showed further adversity and further still committing to doing the right stuff in the ring, which was indeed phenomenal. But again, real quick, we do have to go through the championship rounds. We don't want to let up on this conversation. And in the midst of that, we can talk through Moses the Talma, the pay-per-views with Dana White and UFC and all that stuff, and much more. So before we get lost to time, let's keep on rolling through and let's change gears to the championship rounds right now. Yes, sir. It's time to work. It's time to shine. It's time to make this world your mind. And it's time to make the show your own. Bob, with the last, 30 minutes to however long we go through. Whatever you want to talk about and discuss, we can talk about it right here on this show. Conversations, debates, questions, comments, concerns, fights that we want to bring up, questions that, or opinions that you want my thoughts on, certain news, breaking news that maybe I missed that you want to discuss. All that stuff in the boxing world or beyond, in the NBA, in the NFL, with stuff coming back up. Cleveland just had their first preseason game earlier, last weekend. Shador Sanders, was it 153 yards? I think 2 touchdowns. I think led 3 touchdown drives as a whole. Phenomenal stuff. All of that we can discuss right here on this show for you all. I want to hear what you all got to say. Absolutely. So, your voices now on the docket. Let's see what you got to say. But in the meantime, while you're getting your questions and comments together, we can still talk about the world of boxing in particular with the fights, with the UFC. With the UFC, let me see. That Iglesias fight is okay. It's September 4th. Okay. All right. Thank you. I need to put a pin in that so I can make sure I keep track of that. So the Iglesias fight is on September 4th. I thought it was later in the year, but now I can put it on my calendar. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But as we're going through, the pay-per-view has been a big talking point in the world of boxing thus far, because now the UFC has just signed a $1 billion deal with Paramount, going through, I think it's $1.1 billion, to have exclusive rights to the UFC, having all pay-per-view events on their streaming platform for $29.99 without any extra pay. Nothing extra. I believe it's nothing extra. So you get every pay-per-view opportunity on Paramount with no extra cost. Every event, every UFC numbered event, UFC in Germany, UFC Las Vegas, the event in the Sphere. If we ever get John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, which now that's on the docket because John Jones is back out of retirement. Hey, most likely it's going to be the fight at the White House. That's going to happen some point in time. Whenever. I have no clue when, but it will happen at some point. This is you'll be able to see that at your leisure. Again, with the streaming service and Paramount Plus. So this begs the question, well, is pay-per-view finally dead? Is it finally dead? Is it finally gone and done away with for the world of sports as a whole? And this is a big step to it. This is a huge step to it. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a huge step to it, because now this is the barrier that has let people lose interest in boxing for a plethora of years. This is what's been led to the downfall of the boxing world being in the public eye and being in the mind's eye of people for countless decades. The barrier of entry, boxing had turned into golf at this point. A legacy sport that you got to be rich to get into because of the fact that it was outpricing most of the public. And the only way to see it was to either, for golf, climb trees or sneak onto the course if you wanted to play it, and or pirate it. If we're going back into boxing, pirate it, illegally stream it, do all that stuff. Now, with the UFC doing this, easily accessible to the world. Boxing doing this, the Mike Tyson fight, the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. Now with other live golf events and other stuff going on with the sports world, and now with boxing with the Canelo Alvarez Terrence Crawford fight, same things apply. That now we're getting a fight situation where everything is more easily accessible. Now again, it ain't just standard television. It ain't like it used to be with ABC and CBS. You turn on the Syracuse game, or you turn on you get ready for college football, but the 2 hours before you get to watch Muhammad Ali defend his heavyweight championship. It ain't like that. Though that would be great. That would be incredible. But but we're getting something of the public's getting access to the sport easily. NFL, though they're starting to, again, you got to have a bunch of the platforms to see every game, at least to get exposed to the sport of football. You can turn on ABC. You can turn on CBS. You can turn on Fox. And you can be able to see the word. You can be able to see your team or a team play. NBA, you can turn on, though it ain't nearly as much as it used to be. You can turn on ABC to watch the NBA. Or if you got cable, turn on TNT and you can watch the NBA. It's great. More accessible, more widespread, more well-known. When boxing was that, it was able to reach the masses. And everybody wants to see a fight. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. Everybody wants to see a fight. It's the only thing everybody stops in the street for. I love basketball. Basketball is one of my favorite sports ever. I got into sports well because of basketball. I ain't stopping on the street to watch a pickup game all the time, but I tell you what, but if you get people fighting, all of a sudden, even if I'm away, even if I'm close or far away, I'm looking to see what's going down. More so to see if somebody's going to pull out something that I may need to run away from, but still, I'm invested in some way, shape, or form. But the exposure makes people want to see it. But there was thousands of people around New York City. If they had made it so that fight was truly accessible to the public without the guardrails up, brother, that would have been an even bigger rousing success. But even with that, just the fight being around the city, it was a success. Though it could have been bigger. This is what we were trying to say. And exposure breeds opportunity. And it breeds the ability to get people on board with the sport. Makes it a lot easier to get people to keep up with the sport. Because at least they know what's going on. Now, all of a sudden, pay-per-view has robbed us of the opportunity. But it's going away. Because it's going away, it's helping. It's helping immensely. Chuck Chico already said he wanted this out the sport, which is great. Now that that's the case, with UFC doing this with pay-per-view, don't be surprised if all of a sudden, even if it might just be Ring Magazine, but we could see on a wide scale like Netflix, boxing become a consistent, at least monthly thing. Dare I say a weekly thing. Lo and behold, this could open up opportunities to get a situation where we get fights on ABC. Hypothetically. All of a sudden we see a situation where, yes, ESPN gave up Top Rank, understand it. But now they do TV rights. All of a sudden they can open it back up. CBS, Fox, the window's there. There's no major network hosting boxing in the United States for the first time since 1940. It's sad. But with that being the case, it's because pay-per-view was the formula. You bring in a new formula that now capitulates to the masses having easy access, that becomes sponsorship friendly, that becomes marketable and easily identifiable. All of a sudden now, yeah, it can come back. It can really come back. And this is the start. It's definitely a start for me. And I'm excited for it, no question about it. But let me keep on reading. Let me see. In a way, versus MJ is September 14th. Yes, it is. And if you aren't ready for that fight is going to be in. Oh, wait. Oh, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. Speaking of that fight, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Here we go. Speaking of the fight with MJ, but we got a quote from Junto Nakatani. Right here.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
It's real.
We got some problems.
I almost forgot. This is real. It's happening. It is happening. Am I moving up to super bantamweight for my next fight? Yes. I will relinquish my bantamweight title. Yes, or will I relinquish my bantamweight title? Yes, I think so. Brother, it's happening. It's here. It's here. It is here. The moment we have been waiting. The absolute zenith of pinnacle. It is. I have been hyping this up for the past 3 years. Over the past year and a half. That this fight is coming. Brother, we're here. Oh, it's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. We are ready. 200 pound best in the world. Going at it finally. And what will be, let me get my face on here. Bump that. In what will be one of the biggest fights in Japanese history. Nay, one of the biggest fights in that division's history. One of the biggest fights of 2026, if it does indeed happen at that point in time. If we see, in a way, get past MJ. Oh my gosh. Oh, brother, I've been waiting on this. This is the only thing. This is the only fight we've been waiting on for anyway. Though he's taking on every test imaginable. This is the last fight, and we've been waiting on for anyway. After this, now, depending on the result, whether either you reign at 122 or you move up after finally getting your fight with Junto Nakatani. Dare I say, you might just have a depending on how the fight goes, but we may see a doggone rematch between the two. Again, he's got to get through MJ. Ahmed Ali ain't no joke. Yes, he does. Again, and again, that fight is on. September 14th. So that fight ain't no joke. But I'm telling you, that fight is something serious. That fight got me on pins and needles. That fight, that's length versus strength. Both of them got power. But one is an in close explosive affair, and the other one is the long arm of the law. Oh my gosh, that fight's gonna be insane. And again, Junto officially publicly said his next fight's gonna be a super bantamweight. For those of you just tuning in, and so he is going up to 122, and he's giving up the belts at 118. So it's happening. So now, the real question is, who's going to be his first fight? Will it be in a way out the gate if in a way beats MJ, or would he have again one fight at 122 while waiting on in a way at 122 to get done with his fight and recover against Ahmed Ali or MJ? Who would you want to see him fight next? After that, because I got some names in mind. I got a plethora of names in mind. I mean, shoot. I wouldn't be mad if he fought Marlon Tapales. I wouldn't be upset if he fought Marlon Tapales. If he wants to really see if you're about this life. Again, the former champion who still is one of the more potent fighters at 122. I won't be mad at that, though. Again, he's fight number 3. Hey, Roman Cardenas. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Ramon Cardenas. Probably getting his name wrong. Who just fought in a way, gave him some work. Would love to see that. I dare say I would love to see, because of all the talk that we've been seeing about the likes of Casemiro, I would love to see Junto take on Casemiro, who people have been saying anyway has been ducking Casemiro. Mind you, he's been taking on 1 through 5. Casemiro's been outside the top 5 and also he hasn't had a belt. We don't believe he's had a belt. And he's been taking on every mandatory contender and legitimate challenger. The only anybody he hasn't fought is Sam Goodman. And he's had to pull out the fight twice because of injury. Now he's fighting Nick Ball. And we're going to see, and most likely we're going to see if Nick Ball can handle Sam Goodman. And if Sam Goodman gets knocked out, then yeah, it's going to be what I expected. But still, if Casemiro really wants to if Casemiro and his fans really want to make their claim and say that, yeah, see, anyway was ducking us, hey, brother, take on Junto. You beat Junto, that's another mega fight. Casemiro versus Anyway. No problem there. Elijah Pierce will be a good fight. There is a plethora of good opponents that we could see him fight. Even Louis Neary. If you want to just see him get an opportunity against an elite fighter. Now, I don't know if he's going to fight the baddest of bad. Again, he could take, like we talk about, tune-up fight, 10 to 15, or 10 to 15 rank. He takes one of those opponents to get his feet wet, and then boom, now jump into the fight. He does that, I ain't got no problem with it. In regards to which, we are at the precipice of the greatness that we've been waiting on for Anyway and Junto to finally get into the fight. And it is going to be indeed great. Junto should have fought Francisco Estrada before going up, but he should fight Picasso. That would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. Now, I wish he had fought Estrada. I do. However, because of what we know he's aiming for, I'm not mad in this situation. Because we know what the goal is. And again, he has been a dominant, reigning champion. I'm not upset at it. Not mad. Disappointed. But I'm not mad. Because he's also done everything I wanted him to do as a champ at 120, at 118, excuse me. With the expectation of, we thought he was going to move up sooner. Because when the talks happened, it was like, okay, all right, we here. It's about to go down. But even still, I'm not mad at it. But like we said with everybody else, Junto, you moving up to 122, you have an expectation. You have a real vested interest from the public that you got to go through and do what it do. And you got to go and fight. You got to, because you just like with Boots, though on a completely different level, you are thrusted into one of the biggest and baddest names that this division has to offer. Just by proxy of you being there without having a fight, it's understood. You're not pound for pound for nothing, but you are seen as one of the best 10 fighters in the world, regardless of weight class. So anything that you move into, everybody's going to be capitulating to your greatness from the standpoint of the hierarchy. So you got work to do. You do. And when the time comes, you gotta do it. Just like with everybody else. If you take a 2-0 fight, I ain't got no problem. You fight Picasso, I ain't got no problem. Picasso will be a really good fight, actually. But I ain't got no problem with that. Picasso or a lesser opponent, I have no issue for the first fight. But then afterwards, you gotta get on the ball. Because we expecting greatness from you. And we will not, come on, get this doggone mic. I'm trying to make sure it's center. And we gotta make sure. Is it center? Am I center? Hold on. Wait. Am I center? Hold on. Wait a minute. Am I center? Okay. Trying to make sure I was in center of the string. But we have to make sure, it's like anybody else, that Junto does the work he's supposed to do at this division. Now that he's committing to going up there. Because there's a lot of work to do. A lot of greatness to accomplish. We just want to see if we can do it. Let me see. Watch the man move up as soon as Junto moves. Hey, brother. Hey, man. Hey, look. That would be a terrible coincidence. That would be a terrible coincidence if Bam moved up. Again, he's got to fight. He's got to fight right now. 115. On the main card of Benavidez versus Yard, Devin Haney versus Norman. He's on that card. Brother, wouldn't that be just the strangest thing if right after Junto moves up And after that fight, Bam then goes and moves up as well in his own right. I mean, it would just it's gonna be it would be a bad look. It would be. Let me see. Deborah, we are talking about right now we're in the championship rounds. We can't talk about anything that you all want to discuss. We had discussed the pay-per-view situation with the UFC getting paid $1 billion to stream exclusively on Paramount Plus with all pay-per-view events for free. We had talked about that and how that changes the landscape for pay-per-views in the combat sports world for the better, getting away from the pay-per-view model of having to pay $80-$90 for a fight that don't matter, for a fight that means nothing, and for a fight that ain't worth the time. Robbing people blind, and essentially just like golf and other quote-unquote elitist type of sports, pricing out people and making sure that they can't enjoy the sport, which killed the popularity of boxing, helped to contend to the downfall of the sport, along with the sport killing itself, with matchmaking not working together and a bunch of other things. Now with this gone, and also with Turkey Al-Sheikh wanting that pay-per-view model also to go away, with Netflix now on the rise, hosting 2 of some of the biggest events of the year in boxing on their platform, for anybody who has the service to see. This can be great. It can be really great. And it can make it so that the people can see the sport again. Easy access leads to more notoriety. Everybody knows the NFL because they're able to watch the NFL easily. Everybody knows the NBA because they're able to watch the NBA easily. Everybody used to know boxing because they could watch boxing easily. Boxing was not getting 100,000 seat stadiums built exclusively for their fights without the notoriety of anybody was able to watch it and go see it. It wasn't able to be on ABC and sell out arenas and be seen worldwide without it being easily accessible. That's what helped make the sport so great. In part, that's how the sport was able to get so lucrative, because it was able to be so much of a fixture in everybody's mind. But once pay-per-view came along and really started to dominate and outprice everybody couldn't see it. And nobody wanted to pay that much. So it started to quickly die off. And then it became to the point that even the people that wanted to see it could not afford it. And so the customers that you wanted to stay don't want to stay because it's too much. And so now we're getting back to a point. We're getting more undisputed champions. We're getting more consistent major fights happening. Bigger stars are fighting on a little bit more consistent basis against constant, opportune, and elite competition. We're getting multiple cards in the year that look great and worth watching. And the generations are starting to move and shift into a new era that is about smoke, not smoke and mirrors. It's about the smoke, and we starting to fire. They fighting now. And the people are responding. And if this does indeed keep on happening, there's an avenue that we can see boxing on public television again. Like I said before, for the first time since 1940, no platform in the U.S. has boxing on their radar, has boxing under their umbrella at all. But with the model changing, if the sport changes with it, it can be every model, every network has boxing back under the radar, because now it gets to the populace and it becomes a commodity again. It can happen, and the fans will respond. We've done it before. And we'll do it again. Absolutely. I say there are too many belts, one undisputed championship belt per division. That would be the best course of action. Again, my best blueprint. One, you got 2 quote unquote trophies or belts. One belt is the world championship. That's it. The other one signifies number 1 contender. It don't even got to be a belt. It could be a key, a chain, a glove. Don't matter what. Something to signify, I got my shot. The gauntlet. A gauntlet or goblet. And you can throw down and say, I earned the right to get my shot at the title. That's it. A signifier for who's the number one contender and then a world champion. Then that's it. Those two, they get something to signify the champion. The champion gets the belt, of course, and then the number one contender gets something. Whatever the case may be. Something to show them, I am the next best guy for the shot at the title. And then that will make it a lot easier to follow and keep track of as to who is the baddest brother in the lane. It would be a lot easier. It would be so much easier. 50-round championship bouts and top 10 guys go 12. And, now, see, the 15 rounds, though, that was because of safety. Now, you said it right. 15-round championship bouts and top 10 guys go 12. So you're saying every other fight would be a 10-round fight. If you're within the top 10, now you bump up to 12. And then every fight from that point on will be 15. If we were going to change it, I would just do outright every round, all fights are 12 rounds. Championship fights are 15 rounds. If we're going to go like that, just to make it more uniform. The issue is just the safety and the danger. That's the issue. And again, mind you, we just had 2 people die last week from boxing injuries. Which, again, is a sad reality. Again, I told you we were going to touch on it later on in the sport. Some of these changes, while they would look to make the sport better and would, call it back to a bygone time, that would help also incur more action and more excitement. A little bit of nostalgia as well. The dangers of some of these changes, though, we got to take that into account. Because do we want to add 3 more rounds of punishment on these people? And mind you, I was somebody that said, I want 15 rounds back. Let the women fight 10, 12 rounds, just like with the men. And let the men go back to the 15 rounds, at least for championships, go back to 15 rounds. To make it say, you really got to dig deep and do what you got to do. Because this is a different level. It should be a higher jump than just 2 rounds. A difference for me. But even with that, the danger of why this is dangerous, or the danger of what this can incur, is indeed necessary to point out. That's the concern. And so I still want it. But if they did do that, it would need to be an overhaul of everything. If they change it to 10 to 15, if they change it from 10 to 15 rounds, or they change it from 10 rounds and 12 rounds as regular fights and championships to 12 rounds and 15 rounds as regular fights and championships, then it should be. Weight cuts are completely different. Weight limits are more restrictive. Same day weigh-in to ensure that you're able to be on weight. Weigh in at 1 in the morning or at 1 in the afternoon instead of late at night, so you can have more time to hydrate. Making it so that you get a stricter penalty if you can't make weight in the division, so that you don't risk yourself and others being put in a dangerous situation. A lot of rules will need to be done, so we don't run into a situation like excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. I'm sorry. There would be a lot of things that need to be done, so we don't run into a situation where Sagatoshi and Hiromasa, who sadly passed away last week, in part due to the weight cut and rehydration, or lack thereof, and the damage that they incurred with their body not being fully, speculatively, from what I've been able to gather, not being able to fully be prepared to take the brunt of that punishment, and they fought their heart out. Oh, they fought their heart out. They did everything they could. It's a slippery slope that if those changes do happen, these other changes also need to take place to ensure that we don't run into a situation like Sagatoshi or Hiramasa, where warriors give their all, but because the rules in place are not conducive enough to giving fighters a chance to fully be the best that they can be within a weight class, death can happen. Long-lasting effects can happen. Because it's not just about the fighters. You got to be committed to the sport. But the sport as a whole also got to be committed to the fighters. It's also a two-way street. And there needs to be change. There does. Not just for the rules, but for the fighters' health, there's got to be some change. If we want the sport to be at its best, even right now, it's got to be. Because if not, but those two were a wake-up call. It was a real wake-up call. It really was. And so it's a real shame. But let me hold on, wait, almost. Whoa, what happened? What happened? What's going on? Okay, everything's going awry. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, let me see. Let me come with it. I heard that Canelo Crawford maybe 2 or 3 days. Oh, I've heard that too. That Crawford and Canelo might be a 2 to 3 day event where it's going to be like 2 or 3 days of boxing. A whole card one day, a whole card another day, and then Canelo and Crawford in the main card on the last day. Broken up into 3 separate nights. If they did that, hey, I wouldn't be mad. You know, that would be what? 4, 6. That'd be what, 12 fights if they go 4 a night? Shoot, if they go 6, 6, 4, that's 18 fights. All it could be exciting. That could be something. That could be something. Now that could be, if it goes wrong, it could lead to fatigue. But if it goes right, it could lead to a lot of good stuff. It could lead to a lot of good stuff. That's it. Let me see. Heaven sent, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for being to the show. So glad that you're here. Let me see. It's me, boys. You cry. Wait, it's you. What happened? Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. They learned about y'all a while ago. I've been told about the hype for. Oh no, yeah. I remember. I told you about the hype for Kamzat versus DDP. You did. One, good to see you. I'm glad you're back from the abyss. That was being deleted. I appreciate you coming through again. So happy to be with you. But yeah, Kamzat versus DDP, that is going through. Now, I've heard, now, full disclaimer, this channel, since you've been here, has evolved more so into a predominantly boxing dedicated event. We cover some other stuff in the world of sports, absolutely, and we cover the UFC somewhat. But more so, it's boxing more than anything. Just for a full disclaimer, so you don't get disappointed based on the content that we do and how we go about talking with this show. So we don't spend a whole lot of time on the UFC, unless it's like a huge type situation, just to be clear. But still, this fight with Kamzat versus DDP, this could be something good. Now, I don't know if Kamzat's either going to retire if he wins, or regardless of the result, or if he goes for a potential third belt if he does win. I'm not sure. I've heard some rumblings about either one. I don't really know where Kamzat's mindset is. Now, if he does move up, let's say he wins this and does try to move up again. Oh, shoot. Hey, incredible. Phenomenal. Scary, all to say the least. But it could be something good. But again, I have heard, and I'm excited for it. And I'm not going to lie, I'm hoping Kamzat wins. I'm hoping Kamzat Chimaev wins. I am. I'm kind of hoping he wins. And Kamzat's murdering him. I don't care for it. Yeah, no, I'm in for it too. I'm ready. I'm really high. And again, full disclaimer. I hope Kamzat mauls DDP. I hope he mauls. I really do. Just me. Because I want to see Kamzat become a champion. And then become a champion again. That's just my, because I like the way he fights. And for my personal taste, but let me keep on reading. Tomorrow Grand Prix, but at the time I'm working, and while Americans sleep, hey, look, it's gonna be nighttime. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even know that the Grand Prix was happening tomorrow. I know I've been keeping track of the other Grand Prix that we've been seeing in the boxing world, which has been pretty cool, but I didn't know there was another one. See, and if imagine a Grand Prix for boxing that was done on a public platform, on television, not just on YouTube, which again is great, it's happening on YouTube, but on television that is easily accessible where you can just turn it on and all of a sudden, oh, it's there. Yes, it's on YouTube, absolutely. But for like, again, an ABC, a CBS, or whatever other public station. But imagine, just like with NASCAR, you got IndyCar racing, on the weekend you'll have a slew of races coming through on various different channels. All of a sudden for boxing, you have a Grand Prix that you can just watch fights, for a time slot that just go through. That would be great for the public and get them adjusted to, hey, boxing is a regular occurrence. And it's always happening. It would be great, at least for me. At least for me. Let me see. If again, I'm scrolling quick because I'm not trying to hold it up, and also we at 3 hours, so I'm not trying to miss nobody's chat. So I'm trying to if I miss somebody, I do apologize. Let me see. I'm super excited for the Talma card. I am as well, and now that it's fight week, we can talk about it. The Talma card and Dillian White. People are getting more and more. Again, we have a final breakdown and final prediction on Thursday, no question about it. But more and more, we're getting people having the notion that Dillian White might be over his head. Hey, more and more, we're getting the feeling that people are telling Dillian White, hey, brother, you might have bitten off more than you can chew. There might be more than this, and you may realize there's some dangerous circumstances, brother, that you're dealing with most of the time. We're dealing with a fighter who has the ability to put your lights out and make you look silly doing it. Even Derek Chisora was saying, hey, buddy, you might be getting in over your head. And also, one more thing. Apparently, Dillian White's trainer is not taking this fight nearly as seriously as I would want him to. Off the backs of, let me see if I can find it. With what I have heard with this trainer, it's not sounding like that he is actually prepping like I would want him to prep for this fight. Let me see. Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me find the clip. I know it's here. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Because this is important. You see, come on, doggone it. Where's that? Where's that? Come on. If I can't find it, I do apologize. But there was a clip going around of essentially Moses Talma saying that let me try this. Let me try this. Essentially saying that Dillian White and his trainer were not giving the adequate level of respect and studying to Moses Talma that you would want to see from a brother who, again, is going up against one of the most, at this point in time, hyped up and destructive fighters in the division. Doggone it. I saw the clip. I'm not going to waste time with it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to keep on reading with you all. But I'm going to find it at some point. But he did say, let me see. But let me keep on reading. No, he won't retire. He says he needs money. Since he said he needs money or something. Okay, then that's well and good. Hopefully he doesn't. UFC said he doesn't pay that well. And that's why with this $1 billion deal, the fighters better come up and be like, hey, give us what we deserve now. And UFC's been on the back burner from the standpoint of consistent hype from what it used to be. When it was indeed way more popular than boxing. Absolutely. Absolutely it was. Oh, they were eating boxing alive when it came to the popularity and the consistency in the public eye for fans around the globe. But now, tables have turned a little bit. Tables turned a lot, and they still but with this amount of money, like if they do this right, they can get back to notoriety. But they still got to pay their people. It's one of the issues I have with TKO and Dana White in boxing. Trying to do it so that people get 25, 50, 75, $100,000. No. Pay your people what they deserve. Pay your fighters. Pay them. They got to. Golly. Because they don't, man, it's gonna be a problem. Oh, it's gonna be a problem. Let me see what's going on with let me see, Troy Nash, top opponent. Yeah, I've been watching absolutely. Gosh, 8 to 9 a.m. Shoot. Also, you from Sweden? My goodness. Hey, what's up from Sweden? I did not know you were from Sweden. Brother. Dang. Oh, that's so dope. See, thinking if I had more time, I want to ask about the country. I don't want to ask about the food. I want to ask about the culture. Oh, I got so many questions. I would love to travel there as well. But dang it, we ain't got enough time in the show. Shoot, I'm gonna ask you about that. I'm gonna learn about it. Because I am interested in other cultures. Absolutely. Let me keep on reading. Welch, Atama needs to keep his hands up and his head's moving against Dillian White. No, he does. And normally he does. See, Dillian White is a fighter who he's got one punch KO power. And as much as he may have regressed at this older stage in his career, but he's still got an overhand. He's still got an overhand that can crack you. He's still got an overhand that can crack you asunder. I mean, he can go through and pop you bad. And we haven't seen Moses or Talma really tagged before, at least to my recollection. At least to my knowledge. We haven't seen Moses or Talma really cracked bad against this competition. We really haven't. And this would be a very interesting affair to see how in the world he can react to power if it does against somebody that can actively land on him. Because against everybody else, it's been, I don't want to say untouchable, but close to it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, I finally found the clip. Dang it, doggone it, I finally found the clip. Here's the clip I wanted to say about Dillian White in reference to him and not watching training videos. At least from the words of Moses Atama. Let me check the volume real quick.
Buddy McGirt was saying that it's like.
Okay, here we go.
Buddy McGirt was saying that it's like. When he was boxing, did he study fighters? I can imagine he probably did. So why is it now that you're coaching somebody that you won't study them? It's because there's no what's the right word? I don't want to say accountability, but it's like he's not there in the ring taking the punches. So he's going to be okay with not studying the fighters because there's no urgency.
Of course.
There's no urgency from his side. Buddy McGirt.
Now that I will say, that is concerning. That's very concerning. That's incredibly concerning. Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I would, again, it took me a minute to find the clip. Finally found the clip. But that is horrifying for Dillian White. Do you understand that? Do you understand what he's doing? Again, this is coming off the backs of Dillian White and Buddy McGirt saying that they haven't been studying Moses Atama at all. There's no film. There's no stylistic thing. All of it is we're just going to go in there and win based on how their rhetoric's been going through. And I'm saying, brother, I don't care how great you think you are. You can't. I repeat, you cannot go up against a fighter, against anybody, But especially against a brother who is this talented. You can't just be so rudimentary. You can't, especially with how you've been looking for the last, 3, 4 fights in your career. Like I said, especially with that. There's no way. There is no
Sometimes
world.
I think to myself, bro, I'm 37 years
And
old.
I
I'm
mean
here.
no world.
I got kids.
With these,
I got wife, I got
with
family,
these
I got everything.
circumstances surrounding
I'm
where
inspiring
Dillian
people.
White
doing
is in his
things.
career at this current point in time. There is no world where you have the luxury ever of being able to say you can just fly by and as a coach. And I got respect for Buddy McGurk. Dude, what you mean you ain't studying this, brother? What you mean you ain't got no? So what game plan are you gonna make for him? What game plan are you gonna make for this brother? How are you gonna stop the footwork? How are you gonna stop the angles? How are you gonna stop the fast jab? What is your window that you're looking to counter? What rhythm are you trying to tap into to beat out Moses the Talent? What's the punch that's gonna land the best against Moses with your skill sets? So the moment is not the thing that's gonna make a Talma shrink. The stage is not gonna be the thing that makes a Talma shrink. The doggone it, the platform or the biggest fight of your career moniker, that's not going to be the thing that makes a Talma shrink against you. You as Dillian White, with all due respect, sure enough ain't the thing that's going to make him concerned with who you are and make him wilt. It ain't going to be like that. Not at all. So what's that mean? But you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. And if Buddy McGurk really ain't studying, and Dillian White is accepting that Buddy is not studying, it's a done deal. Oh my gosh, yeah, nah, bump that. I've been saying this fight. I have been saying this fight was going to be competitive. I wash my hands of that statement. No way. This fight ends in 5. This fight ends in 5 rounds. This fight ends in 5 rounds with this information now. It ends in 5. Dillian White is in no way. Again, puncher's chance? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Dillian White can still fight. But if you have no game plan, you have no film, you're going in blind against somebody who brings some tools to the table that are more akin to, again, like we've said before in this heavyweight division, a bygone era in heavyweight. I'm not calling him close to the talent, but a semblance of, a heavyweight that got feet that can actually move and bounce with pop. All of a sudden, the only buddy that was in the division that could do that in the heavyweight division was Usyk. Now all of a sudden you got Moses. Again, not comparing ability. I'm comparing they both have a semblance of that old school ability of being more well-rounded than nearly everybody else in their era. From bygones era, when everybody had those well-rounded skill sets at heavyweight. At least a lot more abundantly. Talma's essentially walking in a pool where he's got a whole bunch of tools that other people just don't have at all. Similar to Usyk. And got footwork that most heavyweights absolutely ain't got. Along with hand speed and punching power to boot. A well-rounded fighter at heavyweight. And ain't as common as it used to be. So, brother, what you mean that you're going to go through and you just do whatever? Nah, brother, you are going to get knocked out. And I thought this fight was going to be close. Bump that. 5 rounds. White's getting knocked out in 5 rounds. I'm saying it. I'm calling it right now. He gets knocked out in 5. And it's going to be because of his own fault. His own fault and him and Buddy McGurk's in this situation, arrogance. And thinking they just go through and just do whatever they want to do. Now, if this is something to throw a Talma off his game, okay, fine. Great. Tactics work. But if it's not, we got an issue. We have a problem, I guarantee it. White knows it's his last shot So he may gamble all and be super reckless. Well, he better not. Now, it can work. No question it can work. But, brother, with the stamina issues that he's already has and how much more out of shape he's been as he's gotten older in his career, but if he tries to burn it all by round 4, all of a sudden, he's gone. If a Talman survives, there ain't nothing else White can really do. Let me see. Troy is 5'9". But he's a good guy. Wait, is Troy the brother fighting in the Grand Prix? Again, I've been talking and skimming through. So I'm kind of I'm reading through your chats, through the conversation. So I'm trying to. Are we talking about the Grand Prix that's going on right now, or that's going on tomorrow with some of the fighters? Again, full disclaimer, I'm still learning about the sport, no question, and so I'm still trying to learn about a lot of the people, and I'm doing my best to keep track of as much as I can. But some people go under the radar. A lot of people go under the radar. Sadly, I'm not trying to diminish anybody, but I don't know some people. I would love to be put on for some people so I can see who to keep my eye on. Because this Grand Prix is a huge thing. So it's a lot of names to keep up with. But you got somebody 5'9" at 126? What the world? Who the world is this? Oh my gosh. Oh shoot. That's insane. Let me see. Indeed, Troy the win, man. He a solid dude. I'm gonna keep my eye out for this brother. Cause if he looking like that, but that's something too. Let me see. Okay, Welch, our great fighters. Welch, how our great fighters is weight transfer, kinetic chain sequence, distance management, ring geometry, timing and rhythmic distribution, defense responsibility, and combination crafting. Okay. All right. Like claps. Because this gives me a little bit better answer. So you're more on the fighting ability of what a person is, more than the accolades of what a person does, as to what makes them A+, B+, B-, whatever the case may be. It's more so the intricate stuff that they do on the physical end. As a fighter, what are you? Okay. All right. Thank you. That paints a little bit better of a picture as to what we see and what we do. Now, with that being said, now again, like I said, everybody's pound for pound, and their list of rankings as fighters is fluid. It is subjective. I am not here to demean or say that you're wrong in most regards. Now, in some regards, yeah, I think some people are. Yeah, no, I just can't rock with it. With some of them, but for the most part, your list is your list, because your criteria is your criteria. As much as I may agree or disagree with it. Again, it's all opinions up until, again, it gets proven as to somebody is indeed just great. But now it paints a better picture. Now, for me, my criteria, it's talent and accolades combined in who you beat. I think I made a video a while ago of how dang it, I'm sorry, laughing at something. I think I made a video a while ago of how my 5 criteria for pound and what I take into account as to what makes a fighter great. I believe it was a fighter's talent, a fighter's consistency, the names that a fighter beat, the accolades that a fighter accomplishes, and how bad or how wide the gap is that they beat opponents on average compared to everybody else in their division. Those are my 5 criteria. How good you are, how good the opponents are that you beat, the accolades that you achieve, the consistency at which you fight and sustain that high level of, again, fighting acumen and ability, and how dominant you are compared to everybody else around you. Those are my 5 criteria. And some can weigh more than others because again, I try to do context for what takes into account as to for this fighter, something may be different for this fighter. So yeah, so I do my best with that. But that's how I gauge my pound for pound. But again, it's subjective, absolutely, which is good because it gives us a better insight as to all the ways that a fighter can be great, which we love, absolutely. Tuma actually studies fighters. That's really good. Yes, he does. He religiously. This brother is looking to learn, which is something that if every fighter takes into account that incessant drive to try to garner new information, but that can be incredible. That is a mentality of greatness. That is a mental fortitude of discipline that makes a fighter great that we want to see every time. Every time. Absolutely no question about it. No question about it. And so it's great. So let me see. I'm not trying to skip, but I'm trying to go through. Guys, 46. Oh, shoot. 140-16 is Troy Nash amateur record. 15-time amateur champ. Okay. All right. Okay. Troy Nash. I'm going to keep my eye out for him. I'm going to look for him. And what, you said the Grand Prix tomorrow? I'm going to look for him. I'm going to see what this is all about. I'm going to see it. Let me see. Yep. After stream, I'm going to look for this guy. Hey, man. Hey. Look. Heaven sent, buddy. You hyping this brother up. You're making this dude look to be like a bad dude. Now, I fully believe it. I just hadn't heard of him. I hadn't heard of him. But I'm going to look him up. And we're going to see what he does tomorrow if he's fighting that Grand Prix. I can't wait to see. Troy Nash opponents fought in Africa who just threw stuff, dude has no amateur experience. It all got $100 on Troy Nash. Now you $200. Betting underrated. But hey, look, that route, take it at your own risk. If you lose, don't blame the channel. That's all I'm gonna say. And if you win, hey, throw some of that money our way. Yeah, if you win something, throw some of that money our way. Hey, I'm big on a knockout too. And if you do, you can throw a little bit of that, you can throw a little bit, 10%, 20% right into the channel, Cash App and PayPal. If you want that support. If you, hey, look, I gotta get it how I can somehow. I gotta make some money somehow. Like I said, we're not monetized yet. We can't do the super chats and ads yet, but we still are trying to make a way. So whatever way you want to do, we got it right here for you to help make it happen. Oh boy! But if you lose money and you don't ask for, I ain't paying you back nothing. And so, oh boy! Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. That is hilarious. Let me see. Welch, in a way, is still. No, he is not. See, this is the one thing I can't agree on. No, he is not. Even by your understandably very deep, very detailed encapsulation of what makes a fighter great or not great, which I completely am on board with. I don't see how this brother is not that. I don't see where Inoue lacks at all. I don't see it. I just can't see it for the life of me. I just don't get it. I've been watching this brother for so long. We're going to agree to disagree. Inoue is an A+ fighter. A++ fighter. Shoot, he's an S-tier fighter. We want to go Sonic. And I'm a video game brother. I love video games. And we're going to go Sonic X. Or not Sonic X, that's the doggone it. That's the 4Kids show I used to watch growing up, which again, phenomenal show. But for the same, what was one of my favorite shows growing up. But if we're gonna go with Sonic and how at the end of the level, you got F, C, or you got what? F, D, C, B, A+ S tier for how fast you complete the level. Brother, anyway, is an S tier. That body's an S-tier fighter. No question in my mind. Him, Usyk, Crawford, S-tier fighters. And we're going to go max to the max. At minimum, for me, A+. I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand it. Let me see. Hold on. Whoa. You got, Ryan, is this true? Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, wait a second.
Hey, look at this.
Is this true?
We got the problem.
And you got. Tell me, do you have Goodman beating? You'll see. Okay, you'll see. Junto versus Ennis. You're talking right with it. Hey. You're talking about where's something? You gonna fight with it. You're talking right with it. And guess what? If anybody loses, guess what? He's still A plus. He's still A. Junto just turned into an A+ fighter. If Junto just adds to that level of being A+ as well. Because I got Junto as an A fighter. And Inoue as A+. But if Junto beats Inoue, after the dominance that he did at 120, at 118, and 115, I think, early in his career, oh yeah. Oh, he be there. He for me, he's right there. He's that. Hey, at this point, with how drastically, if we see how drastically Lamont Roach got elevated when he beat the likes of, or when he should have beaten, but got a draw against Tank Davis. But if Junto beats Inoue, coming up from 115 or from 118 to 122, dare I say even knocks him out? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. That would be insane. That would be insane. On some ridiculous levels. He elevated for me if he does that. There hasn't been one A+ in boxing history, and I'll stand on that only A- and A guys. I beg to differ. I beg to differ, with all due respect. Sugar Ray Robinson, A+ fighter. Marvin Hagler, in my opinion, was an A+ fighter, at least an A fighter, minimum A fighter. Roberto Duran at 135 was an A+ fighter. Definitely A+ fighter at 135. Oh my gosh, yes he was. I think I already said Sugar Ray Robinson, which doesn't need any more explanation. Salvador Sanchez, his record was what? I think what was he 44? I think what was Salvador? What was Salvador's record? I think Salvador was what was he? Hold on. I'm gonna figure it out. Hold on. I got stats. I just can't think of them. I got the numbers in my head. I just can't think of them. Salvador was just about there, but he was in the prime of his career if he hadn't passed away. But he was right on the cusp. Roy Jones Jr. No words needed. I think that I'm not saying that there's been many, but I believe they definitely have existed. Henry Armstrong, Ezra Charles, Joe Louis. It's a plethora of people, in my estimation, who fit the mold of, for me, being that I think they were A+ fighters, and it's like again my standards different, understandable. I'm not trying to knock you. Just for me, I think there have been a litany of A+ fighters, most of whom are what make up the pound for pound greatest of all time, regardless of era. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, you could argue, was an A+ fighter. Though he's not in my pound for pound top 10. It's hard to say he wasn't an A+ fighter. Pacquiao, it's hard to say he wasn't an A+ fighter. 8 divisions of being able to carry power and be able to be as active and be as dominant. With the lanes that he beat and the way that he did it, I mean, it was ridiculous. It's difficult. With what George Foreman was able to do in the 70s and then 15 years later in the 90s and still win. That even if he ain't A+, but that's A-, A. Just about. This is what he was able to win in two seven eras. and give the fights of their lives to some of the best of all time, like with Evander Holyfield. And so, like, I don't know. It's just me. It's just me. But let me see. Oh Lord, see. Heaven sent. How do you think we had this? How do you think we got on this topic? How do you think? Where do you think this all started? Score was the question. Score was the very question as to who was or who wasn't an A+ fighter. You better, see, you better, Lord. All right, here we go. 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 You better open up an old argument. I'm telling you. This feels like deja vu. All over again. I'll let him defend himself on that regard. Let me see. Welch, Ray Robinson was here on earth too early. He was a B+ fighter for sure. He was ahead of his time. Be clear. He is a man who modeled. He is a man who both Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson modeled their game after. No question about it. But at the same time, he had so much going, not just futuristically from a stylistic nature, but from an actual talent perspective. But this man went 40-0, lost, went 80-0 afterwards. The brother didn't start losing consistently until he was getting ready to retire. After he had already had over 120 fights under his belt. Dominating. Like this, like he's something serious, brother. I don't know about that. I'll let you take it up with the other with the other pantheons of experts and people. What was it? When Rusty Buckets. Doggone it, if Rusty Buckets was here, brother, I wish Rusty Buckets was here in this chat. He would be able to better articulate, because mind you, that would have been around for a minute. And I say age as a great thing, not as he's old as dirt. No, he's been around for a hot minute. He was there during the rise of George Foreman, with Ali, coming up, I think around with Ali, off the backs of Sonny Liston and all that stuff. When saw, with Frazier being at the top of the game, he lived through all it and before, I believe, if I got my dates correct. He would be able to vouch better than me. I would love it if he was here, because he could give you more closely to that time. Though again, he was still removed from that era of Sugar Ray, but still close enough that he would have been there. He could tell you exactly what I'm saying to you right now. But it was a consensus after Sugar Ray retired. Robinson. It was a consensus during the 70s, the golden era, the 80s and 90s, the other silver age of boxing. Even around the time that Roy existed and was in his prime, it was still understood by everybody alive and retired and or active. Sugar Ray was still the best anybody had ever seen. To this day, people are still stealing stuff from him. But we talk about people being Roy Jones-esque. But Roy Jones fought with those flurry of shots, just like with Sugar Ray Leonard. But that was Sugar Ray Robinson-esque. What we saw with Floyd Patterson, some of the fastest hooks in heavyweight history. But that came off the backs of also Sugar Ray. You saw aspects of that. Every shot was perfect. His speed was incredible. His defense and instincts were phenomenal. His chin, world class. His talent, insane. The resume is filled with Hall of Famers. Mind you, at that point in time, you had to fight almost every month or every couple of weeks. His brother was rematching people like Jake LaMotta 6 times. And going to war, life or death every time. With him beating LaMotta almost to death and still going through and kept on fighting. This brother was a welterweight and middleweight champion Mind you, at a time when there was only one belt. He was welterweight and middleweight champion when there was only one belt. So it wasn't like he beat a bunch of belts. No, he went through the ringer in both divisions and beat everybody and reigned in both eras. Ridiculous. Especially what he almost could have gone to light heavyweight if he really wanted to. It's insane. But he was different brother, man. I'm telling you, I, as much as I pride myself on being as knowledgeable as I can to help people learn and grow, even I am doing a disservice in speaking on what Sugar Ray was able to do and what he was as a fighter. Even I can't do it. I'm nobody. I'm not some great person. I'm just ho-hum. But I'm doing it a disservice as to truly how great this cat was and being able to be the greatest fighter we have ever seen. He's the greatest I've seen. But I'm playing catch up, trying to study everybody I can. Greats past and present. I lived through Floyd Mayweather. I lived in the midst of Pacquiao. I'm living now with Usyk and others. I'm not saying I've seen the best of the best live, but I'm telling you, I've tried to do it my homework. And brother, I'm telling you, at what I've seen, brother, I ain't seen nobody be better at this point in time than Sugar Ray Robinson. And so, oh boy, man, that's something. Again, for me, and it's hard. I'll debate that to Kingdom Come. I'll argue that to Kingdom Come. Because that bullet, he was something serious. He was the closest thing to a perfect fight I've ever seen was Sugar Ray Robinson. The closest thing. Now, I've said that about Inoue now. Absolutely. And I do believe if I was to build a perfect fighter, just about, Inoue is as close to it as I could get. But the reality of what perfection is, the actual walked out example, the only butt I've ever seen be like that, Sugar Ray. The only cat that's come close to that from physical ability and from raw, unabashed talent, but it was Roy Jones Jr. That was it. That's the only cat. Because it's something different. Again, for me, he's something different. He was a different brother. Brother, if I was around to see him, oh my gosh. Well, that's the reason why this brother got a 40-minute standing ovation the day he announced his retirement in the middle of the ring. But and the arena would not sit down. But he was insane. It was ridiculous. Hold on. Let me see this. Lens Al Gabi. I just put it on the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. But let me see. Did I miss? Hopefully, did I miss something? Let me see. Boxing did man. Okay. This was chat before that. Boxing been dead, man. Only middle-aged black men watching now. Well, that's not true. There's a plethora of people that do watch it. The issue has been pricing out people and inaccessibility. If boxing was on a consistent public display, like ABC, Fox, CBS, and also, like I said earlier, if it was done where matchmaking was quality, like it used to be, people would consistently care. They did the same thing like the UFC did, that type of moniker of constantly having people fight and not making it so expensive for bum fights, making the bum fights actually free. And if you are going to do pay-per-view, make it reasonable. Then we could see this happen. We could see a better a better wide sweeping net of fans consistently wanting to see fights. Because I guarantee you right now, everybody still wants to see a fight. They just don't know, one, when it's happening, and two, I don't know why I put up three, and two, who's fighting? Because they don't have the exposure. When you get the exposure, just like when UFC was able to get swaths of fans, black, white, and other, getting invested in the sport, same thing could happen with boxing. Again, because it used to be like that. It used to be like that. The sport killed itself. We're in a window of time where it can build itself back up with the Paramount deal with UFC, getting the $1 billion. Everything's $29.99. All events. Netflix with their stuff with Canelo and Crawford, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. There's a window that you can make it so that you can make it easily accessible and not rob the public and make the sport gain respect and help the sport to garner a level, not consistency, though that needs to happen, but a level of familiarity. We know boxing's happening. We know the NFL's coming around. We know the NBA season's coming up. We know where to watch it. We know who I want to watch. We know how I can watch it. And it ain't hard to find. A little more difficult because streaming, but it ain't hard to find. Boxing is hard to find. You make boxing easy to find, everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see it. And there are new stars that people will want to keep track of. If boxing made it so that they were easily accessible, when that happens, boxing comes back. I guarantee you. I promise you. I promise you. And so it ain't just black folks. It's everybody. I've seen people turn into fans because they just didn't know what was going on. Now they want to know what's going on. They were fans of Tank. All of a sudden they like the Tank fight. What other fights are happening? Who else is there to look out for? The window of exposure is there for the public to tap into. It's just a matter of the company and the promoters to tap into it. You do that. But it's great. How do you think the NBA started to become more popular when it was losing popularity at one point? Off the backs of Julius Erving, Connie Hawkins, before that George Mikan, Nate Tiny Archibald, all these other greats. And more, a notarized star, you could see it. More and more as television grew, so did the wide sweeping net of the NBA. When they were losing traction and Michael Jordan got there, they did their part to market MJ as the face of the league and also make it so that, like on NBC, you could watch the NBA whenever you could. And while you may not be able to see every NBA game, you knew where to watch it and you might be able to catch Michael Jordan when the schedule is there. And everybody knew Michael Jordan. So, brother, it was a situation where, yes, we want to see it. The popularity grew because people knew where to go. There's a home. HBO used to be the home of boxing. Showtime was a home for boxing. Now they're dead because pay-per-view killed them and promoters killed them because they weren't doing stuff that people wanted to see. Now they were doing stuff that people want to see on a consistent basis. All you need is the exposure. And don't get greedy. And you can make it happen. I promise you can make it happen. I guarantee you. Let me see, Freeze Temp, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here with us on today. And see, he's with me with A+ Ray Robinson. And again. If you don't agree, I'm not gonna fight you. I just really think that he's like that. UFC rules now. UFC is in boxing have now flipped to some degree. UFC is still incredibly popular. They still have, from the barn burner of momentum, they got it, but they're losing it. Because all of a sudden people are getting tired of the product. There aren't as many big stars anymore. The matches aren't living up to the expectations of what the fans want to see. Most of the stars got something going on or getting ready to get out of the sport. Or have some sort of contract dispute. So you got some issues right now in terms of the UFC, which I hope they get it fixed. I hope Dana White pays their fighters, gives them insurance, gives them health care, makes a pension plan so that they can be taken care of after they retire. But regardless of which, the fight, they do the right thing. They can drum up interest just like that. Again, because they have a base model that has always worked. Now, here's a law. Boxing's got the window to take back control. Though it seemed insurmountable, now it's not. It's just they got to do it now. If they lose this window now, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be, okay. It's going to be difficult. Let me see. Grand Prix. Oh, okay. Grand Prix starts at 9 a.m. for you. Now, based on where you from, I'm down south here in the States. So it might be. Shoot, I'm scared. It might be 4 in the morning for where I'm at. Great day. Oh, Lord. That's all. That's terrible. But again, no, but everybody likes boxing. Everybody wants to see it. They'll want to garner it, and if they just got a taste of it, they'll want to experience it. It's happened almost every time. It's happened almost every single time. It's just people don't fight as often. The matches aren't made as consistently that people want to see. And the sport's too confusing to keep track of what is actually going on. Once those things get fixed, everything works itself out. It always does. It always does. At least when I've been able to see. I say, what? It's outdated. What's the point of only punching when you can kick an elbow? No. It's just a different brand. It's just a different brand. I mean, we've seen Clarissa Shields be able to win in the UFC. We have. Rampage Jackson predominantly was stand up in boxing, even when he was over in Pride. Yes, he used kicks, he grappled absolutely, but he was predominantly knocking people out with that left hook of his. He was predominantly knocking people out with that left hook. And boxing tactics. Holly Holmes, boxing was her biggest staple. Though that high kick is what helped end the deal for the likes of Ronda Rousey. Boxing can thrive in a multiplicity of things, though it's not the only way to fight. And it's incredible to watch other people. Keith Wonderboy Johnson, or not Keith Wonderboy Johnson. That's a different brother. I think that's a gospel artist. Wonderboy in the UFC, incredible karate fight, phenomenal. I'm not diminishing it. It's a plethora, and it's great. It's a plethora of styles. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Capoeira, though I haven't seen that much. Judo, there's a bunch of stuff. But it's great. Charles Oliveira, one of arguably the greatest submission specialists in UFC history. But guess who knocked him out? Ilia Topuria, who was a boxer. Just like that, one punch and it's over. 3 punches and it's over. Now, I'm not saying that the other sports or the other avenues are diminished. No. I'm saying it's a different type of entertainment. There is a beauty and a science behind it, just like with all the others. It's hard to fight with just your hands. That's why people in front of UFC struggle coming over to boxing. Because it's difficult. Because when you are a master of one craft, but you know all the ins and outs to counter a plethora of other things because you know the intricate natures of what to do. A jab may seem like the most basic thing, but brother, a boxer's jab is better than most UFC boxers' jabs. Max Holloway's boxing is nowhere close to the championship level in boxing. Not because Max Holloway is not a great fighter, but because, brother, it is not nearly as refined, sharp, fast, or powerful, or understood. That type of punch. It just ain't. It's not bad, it's specialized. That's all. And it's great to watch. When with nothing but your 2 hands, brother, you got to be creative and being able not just to fend off attacks, but to land stuff and to knock somebody out when your only avenue of entry, your only viable window of where you can hit an opponent is from the waist up. How do you knock somebody out with that limited space? Because you can't low kick, you can't grapple, though you can clinch and grapple, but you can't take them down. It's a beauty. It's a science. It's a craft. And it's great to watch. Just like it's great to see what grapplers are able to do. Hamza Chimaev, but it wasn't just great just because, he was dominant, but he was mauling some of the greatest strikers and on-the-feet people in the world, some of the greatest grapplers in the UFC. He was able to make them look like child's play. Hamza Chimaev, but is a mauler of a grappler. He just goes and just with physical strength, just waggles you, just wangs you around. The fact that Usman did what he did against Chimaev is ridiculous. So you did Kevin Holland. Insane. And so, but it's a beauty. And so it's a sport. Again, you may not like it. May not be the sport for you, which is completely fine. But it is a sport that deserves respect. And when you understand what makes it beautiful, even if you don't like it, you can appreciate it. Beyond just the greats that we all laud, like Ali, Tyson, Joe Louis, and others. Holyfield, George Foreman, list can go on and on. But beyond just the greats, they're like, oh yeah, we love watching them fight. We respect them. You get to understand why the modern day of boxing is still, hey, I may not like it the best, but it's still, you know what? I understand why it's something special. I do. At least for me, that's how I think it should be looked at. But my gosh, I think we got to wrap this up and send this on because we have to go through and get out of here. And so, Grand Prix to 9 a.m. Good gosh, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you know what? I'm going to rewatch it. I might just have to rewatch it on the back end after it happens. Because I don't know if I'm waking up that early. I don't know if I'm waking up that early. And McGregor had a better casket, he would have beaten Floyd. Well, that's a bold-faced lie. I guarantee you even when he did have a gas tank in the early rounds, Floyd was just laying back. I think he even said his game plan to Stephen A. And mind you, I don't like you can take what you say about Stephen A with a grain of salt. Understand that aspect was actually true. He told him, I'm gonna let him do what he wants to do, get himself out. Let him think he can do what he wants, and then boom, turn it on. And if McGregor did have a better gas tank, guess what? It still wouldn't have been enough, because he still would have never lasted. And if Floyd ever wanted to turn it on earlier, he just could have. He just could have. Anyway, he would have destroyed him nonetheless. At least, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Absolutely. Speaking of Khamzat, he will submit any boxer in history in a minute. Well, so will most UFC fighters would. Because again, it's a different world, different realm, different frame of thinking. Do you think I believe? There's a reason why Jake Paul never will fight in the UFC. There's a reason. Again, this will be the last thing. There's a reason why. And also, Islam beats Khamzat. That Khamzat. Will Khamzat be too big for him? But the grappling, he's got beer like strength. I got to think about that one. That will be a good one. Talent wise, yes, Islam all day. But the size difference, will that take effect? I have to think about it. But again, this will be the last thing before, and we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here after this topic. There's a reason why Jake Paul will never fight in the UFC. There's a reason why. And it's because he can't last in the UFC. There's nothing he can do. And it's very rare that a boxer comes through to the UFC and just is able to do whatever. But James Toney tried that. James Toney is one of the greatest fighters of all time. It's like 76-3. Won titles from 147, I think, or like 154. And because of just getting out of shape, kept on moving up and was still kept on winning all the way to heavyweight. Ridiculous. He was just that good he was just that much of just a talent. But he tried to go to the UFC, Bellator, excuse me. Straight up. He was like, I don't need all that grappling, but I will just go and box you to death. And there's nothing you can do. I fight. This is what I do. And I can handle myself. But he got taken down and got winning in 3 rounds. And then got stopped. think in less than 3 rounds, and got stopped. Clarissa Shields was able to make the jump and be successful. Holly Holm was able to make the jump and be successful. There might have been a few others. Ilia Topuria, primarily as a boxer-style fighter, is becoming the most dangerous brother in all of the UFC. It's essentially getting a graveyard like The Undertaker of just tombstones of all-time greats that he's knocking out, putting to sleep, doing away with the hooks that he's got. But it ain't common that boxers are able to go there. We understand it. Just like it's almost nigh impossible for UFC fighters to be able to be successful in boxing. There ain't many. The only body that would have been successful coming and starting directly from boxing, or if they had switched careers in the middle of their prime, they might have actually had some real success, would have been Anderson Silva. That's it. If Anderson Silva had started boxing early in his career, instead of going to the UFC, he would have been a champion. He absolutely would have been a champion. He had that innate instinctual ability that would have translated both to the UFC and to especially boxing. Oh my gosh! Oh, the head movement he could have been able to use, skinning the cat like he was Ali, because he was doing that in the UFC. He could have definitely done that in boxing. He could have definitely done that. And the power that he carried at that point in time at 160, and the chopping shots that he's just going away from. Oh yeah, no, he would have been a champion. Francis Ngannou, if he had started boxing earlier, like he did when he fought against Tyson Fury, who was a world champion at that point in time, and you take him 12, when we haven't seen anybody in the UFC take anybody competitive to any lengths of time or to any lengths of strain at all. Ngannou, if he had started boxing at the start of his career as a heavyweight, oh yeah, he could have been something. But it ain't common that it translates to the other sport, because they're two different sports. It doesn't negate one or the other. They're different things. So of course, Chimaev will be able to submit him. And of course, Chimaev will get beat in boxing, most likely. Just like boxers would lose to Chimaev, most likely. Because they aren't trained in that skill set to be where they need to be able to do what they need to do. And so, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I completely understand that. And so it's not, that ain't happen. Shoot, even Shannon Briggs, when he fought in Pride. Don't forget, Shannon the Cannon Briggs, he fought in Pride. Yeah, Shannon the Cannon Briggs fought in Let's Go Champ. Yeah, that brother. He fought in Pride. Over in Japan. That brother he said himself, but if I didn't land that right hand that knocked out my opponent, I was going to quit if I took one more leg kick. And I ain't fighting here no more. We ain't seen him back since. We ain't seen him back at all after that. Because that brother, it's a different game. It's a different game that I ain't trained and or prepped for. I can win. But brother, this ain't my field. This ain't my field. It's just the truth. And so it's not a knock. It's just the reality situation. At least, and that's the best thing I can say. But with all that being said, I think we're going to wrap this up and send this home. It's been a great show. I appreciate you all tuning in. But with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in. You all have a good day. Now, hey, you too, brother. Everybody that tuned into the show, we appreciate y'all coming through. Leave a like on the stream before you leave. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about the show in the comment section down below. If you want to support the show, Cash App and PayPal, links in the description down below. If you want to give and help make this show bigger and better, line my pockets. This is where I get paid. Best thing I can do for now before we get monetized, and I appreciate all the support. Mean the world to me. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, join the empire, hit the notification bell, and share the show with everybody you know, so we can build up this empire together. And be sure to listen to this podcast once it gets on Spotify and Apple later on in the day. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it's going to be there. Rate us 5 stars. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all on Thursday. Come back here next week. Same time, same place. Different topics, but same energy. Love you. Be blessed. Be safe. And peace and love. We out.